an old story. As we walk through Flesh for fantasy. We were home. Flesh for fantasy. We were home. Flesh for fantasy. You're high. Flesh for fantasy. Do you like good music? Or do you like to dance? It's nearly morning. You wanna risk a chance? Neighbor to neighbor, door to door. Enjoy the crime, you do your time. Never been nothing before.
How about that song right there? Yeah, man, I just found this remix tonight. It's freaking awesome, man. That song, I was gonna play the original, but that version was pretty badass. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. That is the Dim Zach remix. I'm gonna leave that in the description when I finish up with this transmission. But just phenomenal right there. Flesh for Fantasy. Why did I choose that song? You know, like I could have chose any song out there. That's the song that popped into my head when I just randomly decided, why don't I do one on Soulmates, Twin Flames? Why not? Right? It just popped into my head, and I just decided to do it. Following the lead, the voice in my head, reminding all of you that I feel anyway, if you follow the voice in your head, well, it's not going to lead you astray. It may not always be roses and unicorns and fluffy marshmallow clouds, and there may not always be a red carpet rolled out for you, but I believe in predestination. And I've done enough decoding now to support that we live in a predestined script. There are no accidents. There are no mistakes. Everybody that you have ever been with, you were supposed to be with them. So if you're not with the person that you were with before, you weren't supposed to be. Now, I know that's going to shatter some people's beliefs on choice and free will. And I'm not here to take that away from you. But I mean, I have done so much decoding on myself, my past relationships, their past relationships, other people's past relationships. And so I have come to the conclusion that we all have multiple soulmates in this reality. And I absolutely am convinced that everybody you are with in this lifetime, you were in with other lifetimes. Absolutely. We just switch. And, you know, from my own personal experiences now, I also believe that we have people in our past lives that we just didn't get a chance to be with in this particular moment right now. Maybe you've gone through many cycles of incarnation and you just didn't, and you really wanted to be with that person. Like, this person just does it for you. This person just blows your mind. This person just gets you excited about life. This person is, you know, your other half, really, like truly. And you don't get to be with them over and over and over. And then one day you may just get to be with them. So this is the reason, I wanted to come out with this. And this song, Flesh for Fantasy, what is that all about? Why did that song pop into my head? Folks, this entire reality, you can like it or not like it. And again, these are my opinions. So I'm going to put that disclaimer. You don't have to agree with me. But I believe this reality is all about the male chasing the female and vice versa. Because this reality needs players. Players as in lives, avatars. Without us, there is no game. There's no visions. There's no imagination. There's no building. There's no creation. And with that comes with humping, procreate. We gotta have fun with this. Procreation. It's a necessary piece of the game. And I've been in personal development for a long time. Before I even got into the mystical arts, I went through a very huge, long personal development phase. Bob Proctor, Jim Rohn, Tony Robbins, a lot of these greats. And the number one thing people want to know about their lives when it comes to astrology, when it comes to tarot, when it comes to breaking down and decoding their lives, is either it's career, which is money, or it's love. And I would say they're about 50-50. Some people are going to choose love more than career. Some people are going to choose career more than love. And I think where it's at is when you have a nice, happy medium balance. Because when you get too materialistic, you may end up foregoing love, because when you have a lot of material possessions, they can become more of a liability than an asset. Because everything is both, right? But if you get too much of one, you slide the scale. The scale is the chakras. And if you get down in the lower chakras, where all the sodomy is and the sex and procreation's at and the fun and the satiation, you get lopsided. So really it's in the heart space. It's in the green being the balance point. And if you get too bogged down in the hellish regions, you just go up into heaven. Start doing more spirituality. Start focusing on your third eye. Start doing meditation. Start doing creative visualization. Start helping people. Whatever tool you got to use to get yourself balanced in this reality, the best you're going to be. And I feel like this is where you're going to find your best matches, right here in the heart space. You can definitely find people anywhere. Like if you're I've done a lot of work on myself. Maybe you have too. Shadow work, stayed single. I've spent years celibate many times, which is a feat in itself. It's like fasting for 20 days. Celibate for years, folks, not just weeks, years. I've done it. And it's very liberating. It's you control your domain at that point. Because if you are somebody who spends your life with your soulmate down in the lower chakras, you don't raise that energy, you're not balanced, it can keep you down there, and you may end up foregoing some possible spiritual things that you should be getting during this lifetime. And I know you say, well, what do you mean? What about predestination? And everything you get is what you're supposed to get. Yes. But maybe the message you need to hear right now is to get out of your lower chakras and come up at least to the heart space. And if you do that, you'll have a much better experience. And maybe we're living out fractals, and maybe we're living out parallel lifetimes. There's many equations we can take into consideration with all of this. But I believe that this reality is based upon chasing ass, male and female. We got to have fun with this. I'm going to have fun with this tonight. You can get the fallen angel story and theology in there about the angels wanting to come down and mate with the females. I don't even know how's that even possible. How does an angel spiritual being mate with a physical woman? Piece is missing. So what's not missing, though, is the reality that we live in a procreation world. We live in a world of procreation. We live in a world of sex. That's what we live in. And we go through multiple partners in our lifetime. Soulmates, you have many. You have both male and female soulmates. But I can tell you right now, the person that you are with, or you were with, or you were supposed to be with them, you're supposed to be with them. That's my final answer. But the thing is we outgrow things, right? Sometimes we outgrow things. Something happens in our relationships. We're not happy with that. Something detrimental happens, or maybe you're just not feeling it anymore. And a lot of you are staying in these relationships and you're not getting out of them because it becomes easy for you. You've conformed. The number one killer in relationship is conformity. You'll see people that, they'll go work out, they'll get ripped, they'll get shredded, they'll get in the best shape of their life, they'll be on the market, they'll go dating, and then they find somebody, and then 2 years later, they're a fat slob on the couch. What happened? Conformity. This is just coming from me from a real fun space, folks, because, everybody wants to fall in love. Everybody wants to go through that honeymoon stage. Everybody wants to feel that first kiss, holding hands, cuddling, having sex for the first time. Everybody wants to feel this and they want to keep that. They don't want to let that feeling go. But you see, over time, 2 years, 3 years, how do you find the way to keep that going with your soulmate? And then you get into this concept of the twin flames. The twin flame is kind of like the one. It's the one that stands out above all others in the concept of twin flames from everything I've researched. I've tried to find high and low where this concept came from, couldn't find it. So you can kind of integrate both, soulmate, twin flames. But if we just get rid of how we describe these things in our reality, how about just who do you want to be with? Who are you with? Are you happy in the relationship you're in? And how do you keep that honeymoon stage going? That is the trick. Because, I've done Landmark 3 times. I want to go do it again. You know what they say in there, which I fully believe? You're never going to get happy. Ever. You'll have bits of it. You got to become like fine wine. I feel like this reality, soulmates, twin flames, you got to become like fine wine. You want to have the very best experience with somebody? Be like fine wine. Age makes you like fine wine. That's how it matures you. There is no date circled on the calendar for any of you to refine yourself. You just decide you're going to do it. Be the master of your domain. All of you have a position in reality of being master of your domain, whether it's staying physically fit, whether it's like abstaining from certain foods or certain drugs and alcohol, or just that is a feat in itself. Maybe it's like you're always punctual, you're always on time. Well, if you just take these same concepts and you bring it into your reality with your significant other, look at it as, are you all in? You got 1 foot in, 1 foot out. What is it with you, with your twin flame / soulmate? A lot of people out there, if you had a circle and you both enter the circle, you say your vows during your wedding day. I've done it 3 times. Been married 3 times. Don't care. Some people laugh. Some people are like, oh my God, Logan. So part of my code. Doesn't make me any different of anybody out there. Like, okay, I got married 3 times. What did he do? I have a different outlook on marriage. Marriage is tied to Saturn. Saturn is all about the bands and the rings. Contracts. That's why there's a marriage certificate. That's called a contract. Why do we need these things? I feel like going through the age of Aquarius, we will not need them anymore. It's ruled by Uranus. Uranus is the father of Saturn. Uranus doesn't have any rules and regulations. He's the eccentric one. So with these concepts through astrology, we bring them into the soulmate, the twin flame aspect, the one, and everybody wants it. All of you out there want it. So it's about chasing ass, folks. That's like the fun part about it. And that song, Flesh for Fantasy, in numerology was a 64. Think about that. Flesh for fantasy. Spirit saying, oh man, I want to go feel that. I want to go experience that. Why does it always have to be the masculine chasing the feminine? Why can't it be the feminine spirit chasing the masculine? Like, oh my God, that dude's hot. I want to go chase that dude. Or whatever you look at in reality, however you pair it up. Flesh for fantasy is 64 in numerology. 64 is the possible codons in our DNA. 64, squares in a chessboard. Coming down to play duality. Spirit saying, I'm going to go be flesh to have a fantasy. And when you come down and play the fantasy and you get into these partnerships with people, soulmates, twin flame, there's no accidents, folks. There's no mistakes. There's just the experience. That's it. So flesh for fantasy is this card right here. This is the 64th, it can be the 64th card in the deck. The Ace of Pentacles, otherwise known as the Ace of Diamonds, in the cards of illumination, it's going to be card 27. 27 is tied to our brain. It's tied to our brains. It's tied to the thalamus and heaven. The word heaven is 27. Thalamus is 27. Currency is 27. Flesh for fantasy. When you get this card in a reading right here, Ace of Diamonds, Ace of Pentacles, it can mean it's something new coming into your life. So if you get I've been watching a lot of pick-a-card readings, a lot. I've considered doing them, but I'm pretty reluctant on doing it at this point. But I've watched a lot of talented pick-a-card readers, especially going through the zodiacs, watching them do readings for people. Like, what is your 2023 predictions? What's your prediction for December? What's your prediction for January? And you see these tarot card readers, they're going through and they're showing you these cards and they're giving you their interpretations as best as they can. But what they do not do is they do not take into consideration what your card of illumination is, what your composite, like if you're in a partnership with somebody, there's what's called a composite card. There's actually two composite cards. Right here is my spirit card. Okay? And I also have an ego card, which is the 8 of spades. So this is something that if you're interested in knowing who you're with right now, not just based upon how it looks and how it feels, and I'm talking esoteric from the source code, then I'm going to suggest, I'm not going to say you have to, but I'm going to suggest you get into the cards, you start studying the cards, you start studying the compound cards. Like Sharon Jeffers, one of my friends who's been studying the cards for decades, this is her methodology. It's taking the two cards and adding them up and subtracting and getting a certain outcome. And you can do this with a partnership. So if I take this card right here, which is my spirit card, it's card 26. And then I meet somebody and they're like a 3 of hearts. That's their spirit card. So these are the two spirits that come together. And this is the third card. So we have 26 and we have 3. That gives us a total of 29. Well, then we go to the deck and we're like, okay, what's the 29th card in the deck? Well, it's the 3 of diamonds. It's this one. So, I mean, I could do it with any card, right? And if you get more than 52, if you get a total of more than 52, like if your total is like 70, you got to subtract 52. Why 52? Because there's 52 cards in a deck. And you get the number 18. So the 18th card in the deck is the 5 of clubs. That would be your spirit compound card with your significant other. If you're in a marriage, if you're in a partnership right now, you should be doing this to know what you make up together. And then you have your ego card, your life card. So let's say your life card is the 9 of clubs, the 22nd card in the deck. And then you meet somebody, I'm just going to pull one out. You meet somebody and they're a 6 of hearts. They're born, this is December 25th. They're born on December 25th. And this one right here is the November 11th card. You can see the yin yang right there. So this is something subtly you can take into consideration when looking for a soulmate, believing that it's a soulmate, thinking it's a twin flame. But the 6 and the 6 of hearts is the card number 6. The 9 of clubs is the 22nd card. 22 plus 6 is 28. And what you're going to end up forming is the 2 of diamonds together as a composite card. But then you have to take the spirit card into consideration. That's another layer you got to take into consideration. All of this stuff I'm going to be coming out with in my course. Show you how all to do it. Like this stuff is this is the real deal stuff here, folks. This is like not trying to like really kind of blow smoke here. Like if you're just dating somebody right now and you're like, you should be decoding who you are with that person. Don't you want to know what kind of energy you show up with? I do. So, again, going back to these tarot readers, if you're a fan of getting a tarot reading you got to take into consideration that once let's say that you are, let me find a card. Let me just show you. Let's say that you and your partner, I have this card here. Let's say that you and your partner that you think's a soulmate, twin flame, et cetera, let's say that together your spirit cards, they add up and they reduce down and you become this card. You end up, you're number 6. You reduce down to the 6. So this is what you make up spiritually. Your soul's connected, and this is the soul connection here. Well, then you convert it into the tarot. And it would be this card in the minor, the 6 of Cups, or it could also be the Lover's card, because this is card number 6. So if you end up getting a tarot reading from somebody for your prediction, there's a lot of tarot out there, love prediction, a lot. Well, you see, like I said, they're only giving you a mass average interpretation. But when you break it down to your life and you know what you're looking for, it becomes more solidified for you. So if you get a tarot reading from somebody online, just a random person you pick, and they end up picking these cards and saying, obviously both of these mean love, new love coming in. And that's what your spirit card makes up with the person that you're interested in. Well, that's a humdinger. Bells should be going off. I'm on track. And then you go with your instinct and the way you feel. How do you feel about this person? And you got to remember, ladies and gentlemen, soulmates, when you meet a new one, when you meet a new twin flame, however you want to break this stuff down, it's like, I'm just being very raw here, but it's like buying a new car. You've never bought a new car and you got enough money to buy a Porsche for the first time. You're excited. And then you get that Porsche and you drive it and you're driving it fast and you're ramming on the gas and you're going 100 miles an hour all the time. You're burning up through the tires. That's the honeymoon stage of the car. That's what it feels like to meet somebody. But you see, the key is, how do you keep and contain that emotion? How do you keep and contain that passion for this person? Well, I feel that doing this stuff here, showing you, not just based upon how you feel, not based upon, how your chemistry, that's important. Chemistry is massively huge. But if you line all those ducks in a row, and then you start to decode yourself with the cards and the cards of illumination and the card charts, you get into the charts, these charts, and you find out your age and where your cards are and where their card is. It becomes undeniable. It shows you that you're on track. You're on freaking track. It solidifies and shows you that that this person is really a big deal for you. And it helps you as a human being. It provides you assistance with knowing that this person could be the person I spend the rest of my life with. I don't know if people really do you, especially, this is, I'm talking in front into the mirror, I'm talking to all of you. When you first meet somebody and you get all giddy and you get all excited and, you're in love and, you're in that honeymoon stage, do you take into consideration what life's going to be like 2-3 years from now? Probably not, because you're too caught up in the moment. But I feel like when you start to break down these cards, when you start to look at these cards and you start to see, in the cards anyway, you're the twin flames. I just randomly decided to pick this day today, just this afternoon, randomly, I picked this day. I'm like, I'm going to do it on twin flames. Not looking at the count, nothing. but I'm in tune with the code. I'm in tune with this reality right now. Today's the 17th. 17 is the 7th prime number. We have 7 chakras. 7 means completion. I didn't look at the calendar when I just got the download. The download said, hey, let's do something on Soulmates / Twin Flames. And here it was. And you know what the card is for today, for the 17th of January? The 10 of Diamonds. Card number 36. Guess what the word soulmates equal in numerology? 30 frickin' 6. I didn't plan this, folks. I did not plan this. Let me just show you so you can see. $36. You see that? And then you go to the charts. Here's January. You come down to the 17th. It's the 10 of Diamonds. 10 of Diamonds is the 36th card in the deck. I didn't plan that, folks. I did not plan this. How am I able to be in tune with this? Because I'm being used to deliver this message to you. And I'm okay with that. I'm having the time of my life right now because I've surrendered. Once you surrender and you start looking at all these layers of the cake and baking your cake, life becomes so much more easy on your mind because you can just let go. Stop trying to control things. It's that 10 of Diamonds, man. It's the, it's the fortunate blessings card. And, today, January 17th, it's the 117, which is tied to the sun. The patterns of the sun, if you haven't watched my Superstar Decoded parts 1, 2, and 3, please check it out. It's some of the most enlightening information, esoteric information I've ever come out with. The sun is the 171 pattern. It works like a pendulum. The sun, it comes down and becomes man or woman and controls us. Has this big say in it besides the zodiac signs. Light slows down into physical matter, becomes carbon, becomes an avatar, and now it gets to experience this game called life. I have enough support now on the table to show you that this is the real deal. And that's it. Never mind attaching anything else onto that. But there are many ways to take into consideration, where you're at in life. Again, gauging with your emotions. How do you feel about this person? That's obviously the first thing you're probably going to do. And then chemistry. Are you physically attracted to them? Do you match up good? Then there has to be the physicality, of course. Check. Okay, great. But then are you forecasting years down the line? How compatible are we? Because I know a lot of you, at one time in your life, not everybody, but a lot of you, found somebody, you thought this was the one. Oh my God, Darlene, you wouldn't believe this person I met. This guy is the one. And then you take this guy home to meet your parents. I mean, this is how serious you are. And then 2 years down the line, you're done. What the hell happened? It just may not have been in your destination to continue on in that relationship. That's the toughest part about love. And then letting go of that is so hard. Even if you're in a shit relationship, even if you can't stand the person, even if you don't want to be in that relationship, it's still not easy to let it go. Because then you have their feelings you take into consideration. And if you look at your astrology signs and, a lot of you, if you have a lot of love and compassion in your astrology charts and you want to let that partner go, it's tough because you don't want to hurt their feelings. There's other people, if you got children, if you got family members, a lot of your family members are going to say, you shouldn't be doing that. They'll give you their opinions on what you should be doing. And those are the last people that should be giving you advice. You know who you should get advice from? You. That's it. So, when it comes to soulmates / twin flames, if you believe in the one, the way to determine, getting a reading from a tarot reader who does just, comparison charts. That solidifies it. Then you go through the reading with her, and then you got to, or him, and you got to know what cards that this person's pulling for you. I mean, if the tarot card reader that you hire or you go online to read, if they pull the Lover's card, well, I mean, that's a good sign. If they pull the King of Cups, the King of Love, that's a really good sign. This card right here, this is the thing about tarot readers. They don't know the interpretations beyond just the interpretations of the cards. Like, what number card is this? And then what card does this link to in the Cards of Illumination? It's the Ace of Spades, card number 40. This is going to be card 51. What does 51 mean? If you get this card, this is a card. If aces, most tarot readers are going to tell you, if you're getting a love reading, this can signify new beginnings, because all the aces do. This card right here, ladies and gentlemen, in numerology is tied to the words twin flames. This one. So if you see this card get pulled up in a love reading, this card's tied to twin flames. If you get this card pulled up, you got to know what you're looking for. Like, what is this? This is the Eight of Cups. What does it mean? Walking away from something. If you're in a relationship and this card comes up, well, it's like, okay, well, and I'm feeling like walking away. This is telling you then you're going to be doing that probably. You're going on a retreat, a journey. You're walking away. This is actually spirit leaving the spiritual realm and saying, man, that game looks fun. I'm going to go play that game. Eight of Cups, Eight of Hearts, Eight of Fire, Eight of Plasma, the very first element in all the four elements. If you get this card in a tarot reading, the Two of Cups, this is card number 38, 37, 38, depending on if you use the Fool as 0 and 22, it'll be card 37 and 38. But this means, communion. The Two of Cups is the Two of Hearts, the Two of Fire. Two meaning you and somebody else, starting something new, saying yes to your partnership. So if you get that in a reading, that's what it means. But you got to know what you're looking for. If you get this one, these are just typical ones that if you're going to get into soulmates, twin flames, and you're going to get a tarot reading, and you're going to look, there's a lot of talented tarot readers out there, folks. You just got to know your cards and your partner's cards and the person you're looking for, the person you're chasing, the person that you're dating, et cetera, et cetera. Then you have this one. This one's a dead giveaway. This one is the Ace of Hearts. This is the very first card in the Cards of Illumination. This is the Ace of Cups. This means this is new love right here. Absolutely, that's what it means. So if you see this card come up in your reading, it means new love. That's what it means, new love. The Ace of Cups, the Ace of Hearts. And this is card number 36/37. Today's the 36. This is tied to the operating system, by the way. Love is the operating system. That's what we're chasing. We're all chasing love. We're chasing ass. We're chasing lust. Lust is love. It's the same thing. There is no difference. It's just a precursor to love. And then you get this one. If you watch my Two Thieves Decoded, I hope all of you have, I showed the cross. I showed alchemically how the cross links up with the periodic table. I showed how that converts into the Cards of Illumination, and I showed how that links up with the tarot, converts into the tarot. And this card right here sits in the heart space of the cross, the cube. You know what this card means? Looking for love. This is card 47 or 48. This is tied to Lucifer. Now, I know you got to get rid of the preconceived notions of Lucifer and all that. Forget about all this stuff. I'm just saying, Lucifer is the light bringer. What is light doing? It's slowing itself down into physical matter to come play out an avatar, which uses us to then experience this game called life. That's why we're here. Why else do you think you're here? By chance? So this card, you get this card right here, it means looking for love. This sits in the heart space of the cross. This card right here is the Jack of Hearts. The Jack of Hearts is the Christ card. Jesus looking for love to play the game. That's why there's a story about Jesus. We're all being the Jesus Christ Superstar experience, all of us. Jesus was both male and female, androgynous. He showed plenty of love, and plenty of feminine traits in the story, in the context. I was just having a big shout out to Jordan over at Waters Above Crypto. we're going to be doing another podcast, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. We were just talking about this, and he had said something so profound. He said that's why the Jesus Christ character had the long hair, and he was a little bit feminine in the illustrations, because it appeals to both sexes. It sits in the middle. This card means looking for love. You get this in a reading, folks. This is the knight coming in with the cup. He's like, hey, I'm looking for something. You want to put something in my vase? You want to put something in my cup? And then, you have these cards that are really represented by a lot of bitterness and negativity from a tarot reader. So again, when the tarot reader pulls the card, imagine you have this as your composite card with your significant other. And then that card gets pulled from a tarot reader. You know what they're typically going to tell you? Oh my God, you're going to be looking at heartbreak. If this is your card with your significant other or your partner or your soulmate or whoever you think it is, it can't mean that. I mean, it can. But I'm saying is the alternative is that it can mean that maybe you were in a past life with this person and you experienced that. Someone died, you lost a child, anything, and you experience heartbreak, and there was unfinished business, and you finally incarnate into a reality where you get to meet this person, a soulmate, a twin flame, and you need to go work through this because it's healing. It can mean that, but you got to know what your cards are. The very foundation of looking for your soulmate or knowing you're with your soulmate or your twin flame, the one, if you believe that, is knowing what cards you make up. And then there are so many other layers, astrology, all these charts. Then you get this card right here. You get this card. This is card number 24/25. This is the Three of Clubs, the Three of Wands. In the cards of illumination, it's going to be the 16th card in the deck, which is tied to hell, because that's what we're in. You got to make heaven out of it. But the word light equals 16. This is the card of light. This is Lucifer's card, one of Lucifer's cards. What is the description of this? Launching long-term plans. When you come down from spirit and you come down into an avatar and you become carbon and now you're an avatar, and you're slowed down, now you got to do this. So if you get this in a reading, like you're ready to launch your plans with this person. You're ready to make plans with this person. All right, so then we move on. We get this card. This is a big one right here. You get this one in a reading. This is card number 55 or 56. 56 is tied to lights, camera, action. This is the card of the movie that we're in. We're all in a movie. Maybe you're in a love story right now. Those of you that are single and you're not, right? You maybe, but you're going to probably look for love eventually. But this card is the transition of spirit into matter, the Six of Swords. Sometimes the interpretation from tarot readers are going to tell you, oh, well, you may have to travel. Maybe you're living distant from your soulmate or your twin flame. Maybe they're far away from you, but one of you is going to come to the other. So that's what this can mean. But what if you have this as your composite spirit card or your composite life card? Well, it's tied to the 45. This becomes the Six of Spades, and the Six of Spades is card 45 in the cards of illumination, and 45 is tied to Pandora's box. This is spirit coming down to play the game in Pandora's box. Pandora's equals 31, ride or die equals 31. The foundation, forget about you for a minute. I'm talking about the game of life itself. Then you have all your individualistic aspects. But the game itself, the ride or die, is the game itself. This is your ride or die. It's Earth. Essentially, you become your own ride or die. You ride it until you die, but then you're going to have somebody that you can partner up with. Maybe, just maybe, this round of incarnation, you get to meet the one that's going to set you free, the one that is going to liberate you, enlighten you, and you become your absolute best. But again, I will stress to you, Wherever you're at right now, you're supposed to be there. Because there are no accidents. There are no mistakes. But the thing about it is if you're not happy in a relationship, do you have the courage? Do you have the cojones to walk away from that, trusting that whatever's going to come down the pike for you next was going to level you up? It's challenging, right? To take that step. Even if you go into like a business, opening up a business, or, I mean, it can be challenging. Like, do I want to spend this $100,000? Do I want to take that risk? Relationships are the same way. There's no difference. It's just a different archetype. All right, so I'll get into your questions in a little bit, ladies and gentlemen. So I know you have some questions coming in, and I want to get to those, and I'll get to those. But let me get to some more of these cards. If you get this card in the in a reading, typically the interpreter is going to tell you, well, this is rest and reflection. This is card 43. 42 and 43, this is the card of Hollywood. Hollywood equals 43. This is the 43rd card in the deck. Hollywood is the dream. This is the card of the dream. The cosmos having a dream, playing out its own game. See, I've postulated this before, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know how to look at it any other way. If you created this game, wouldn't you come down and play it? Of course you would. Every single one of you would come down and play your own game. You would. We don't know anything beyond this. Their opinions and even what I'm saying is an opinion. But I'm trying to use logic and discernment here. I'm like, okay, if you create a supplement, do you think you'd try the supplement? Of course you would. Do you think that I have a Samsung. Do you think the creator of Samsung uses a Samsung cell phone? Well, I'm sure they've at least tried to use it before. So why is it so far-fetched to think that whatever created this reality doesn't come down here and play out its own game? I think that's absolutely absurd thinking. There's been plenty of stories in mythology, especially with Zeus coming down here and becoming an animal or whatever to experience the game. All right, so then we get into card number 17. If you get this pulled in here, this one right here, this is, tied to today, the 17th. The star is born. We're all stars. Are you acting like a star? Some of you are not. Some of you are entangled in a movie that is, you're not a star anymore. You're not expanding your consciousness. A lot of people stay single because they don't want to be tied down. They want to be the star in their own movie. They don't want to have any impingements in their life. But I feel like if you're going to get into a soulmate relationship, if you're going to get into a twin flame connection, whatever it is that you describe it as that you're going to get into, there's one requirement, ladies and gentlemen. This is my opinion now, and this is not me being some kind of shrink or psychiatrist or love doctor or anything like that. This is common freaking sense. Are you letting your partner do them? Are you letting them act are you letting them behave the way that they're coded? Now, I'm not talking about stuff that's to the demise. I'm not talking about abuse. I'm not talking about verbal, physical abuse. I'm not talking about just being an ass in the relationship, just being an asshole, just treating you like shit. That's different. I'm talking about if you're vibrating at a frequency of above average, if you're in the heart space frequency, if you're here, are you letting your partner be them? Are you observing your partner and studying your partner and saying, well, I can see, but a lot of people don't operate like this. Because they're in the lower chakras where fear hangs out. They stay down here because they conform to down in the lower chakras, and then they treat you as if you're down in the lower chakras. I mean, if you like that, see, it's here. This is where it's at, right here. If you and your partner can get here, and you let them be them, and they let you be you, I'm telling you, the relationships in this reality will start to, the divorce rates are at an all-time high. I'm not even going to get into marriage stuff Because I mean, not just because I've been married 3 times, I just don't believe in it. Because it's contract and the state has to get involved. We don't need to pay to get this and that. You're either devoted to your partner or you're not. It's just that simple. Just simplify things in life. But that's the main thing is, are they being the star in their own movie? Are you being the star in your own movie? Are they encouraging you to be the star in your own movie? Are they giving you encouragement? Are they giving you compliments? Are they raising you up? Are they putting you up on the pedestal? Are they helping you? Are they making you a better person? Or are they holding you back? Are they pulling on you to pull you down into lower? If they're operating from the lower chakras, the person you're with, who you think's a soulmate, or maybe you just think it's a partner. If they're tugging at you and pulling you down in the lower chakras because that's where they're at, then I mean, why would you still continue to stay in that relationship? I've been there. I have been in relationships like that. And we're all guilty of it. We're all guilty of pulling our partner down to where we want them to be. Like, I don't like you doing that. You should be doing it this way. And if you go study the astrological charts, if you study the cards and the tarot, and you'll start to see that your snowflake is different from mine. So if I'm going to try to pull you down to my again, folks, if you're operating here from an enlightened space, that's just something you need to check off the box. But it's challenging because we all have baggage. So you then have to take into consideration the baggage you have with this soulmate, with this twin flame that you're bringing into this reality. Have they released their baggage? Or are they going to bring the baggage into the relationship with you? Because a lot of relationships, when they start out, they don't show you the baggage. A lot of that stuff has to get let go, and then you become this. You must become the star in your own movie to have the best experience. You, not you and somebody else. You need to be the star in your own movie first. And your partner needs to let you be the star in your own movie. And if that is not happening in your relationship, well, soulmate or not, like I said, there are no accidents, there are no mistakes. Folks, I mean, some of you must let go, but you're not letting go. All right, so keep going here. I don't want to get too much into this. I don't want to be like Love Doctor tonight. But this card right here, if this card right here comes up in a tarot reading right here, this is a dead gift. This is happy home. This card right here is card 45 and 46, tied to Pandora's box, but it's also tied to 46, which is, if you've been paying attention, 1937-46. But this card right here, it means happy home. Do you have a happy home right now? What would it take for you to get a happy home? So if you get this put in a card in a reading, a love reading, if you see this card, they're going to tell you, oh, it's happy, because this is typical. Like, you can't really, then you're going to get people that read reverse and, all that kind of stuff. But this is card 45 or 46. So these numbers are going to be significant. And it's going to be card number 10. So you take, I want to really make this point come across to all of you. Those of you that are fans of tarot, you get tarot readings, you're looking at love readings, you're getting random tarot readings, etc. I'm telling you, I've been through the gamut on these. I've been studying these things for like 3 months now. Some of these people are very, very talented. They don't even charge for their readings. They're just generalized readings. But if you know what your cards are, if you know what the person you're interested in, if you're single, if you know what the person you're interested in, if you know what their cards are, it makes it so much easier to see what this message is for you. You don't even need to get an interpretation from people. They just need to pull the cards. And there it is. So this card is, card 45 or 46. And then it comes from the 10 of hearts. Most tarot readers don't use these, but this is an extension. These cards came first. So we now have numbers. This is card 10. So if the 10 is coming out in your life, if it has significant, maybe you're living at number 10 address, maybe the partner. See, these things are all necessary. What is your partner's address? What is their house number? What's their apartment number? What's your house number? What's your apartment number? Are you looking that deep into your partnerships with these people? Whoever it is, whoever do you think it is, whoever you want it to be. So there's the happy home. Then you have, obviously the Fool. I love this card. It's card 0. Card 0, and it can be 22. This is like being free. Like, this is how we all should be. This card means you don't know what it feels like to be cheated on. You don't know what it feels like to be ripped off. You don't know what it feels like to be screwed over. So it's it's telling you, be free. Take a chance with the Fool. And then you get the Sun card. If you get the Sun card in the reading, man, it's purity coming your way. It's expansion coming your way. The Sun. 19. So it has a 19 tied to it. 19 is tied to the word battery. The Sun's a battery. But this means purity. So you have to look at the cards and combine them together to look, see what the message is going to be. Like, what would it mean to have these two cards together, the Star and the Sun, in your tarot reading? And then, what is the tarot interpreter trying to tell you? And then, is your partner, maybe they're the Sun card. Maybe they're born on the 19th, and this is the 19th card. You're like, oh my God, they're born on the freaking 19th. Wow, that's a sign, folks. Because the person who's reading tarot, they don't know what your partner's birthday is. You do, though. You can also get into, this card, the Hangman, card number 12. Maybe you're born on the 12th. Maybe they're born on the 12th. Then you start to say, hey, what's your birthday? Let me take a look at your astrological chart. And then you go look at their astrological chart. You look in the 12th house. What's in your 12th house? What's in their 12th house? Where's your Pisces located? Where's their Pisces located? Is there any planets there? What are the degrees at which these planets are at inside the 12th house or in the sign of Pisces? These are the layers, folks. They may be like, wow, this is a lot of wow, Logan's kind of like dropping some stuff that's deep here. That's not even deep, but it's a lot of stuff, right? Yeah, but this is what it's necessary to dial yourself into the code. To know, this is really what it comes down to, what I'm telling you, folks. Confirmation. You're looking for confirmation. To say it's okay. Okay, I'm okay. I'm going to go that way. It's time for, some of you need to get confirmation because you don't trust your instincts. You need to see the patterns. That's okay. But once you get dialed into the code and you start looking at these patterns, it just becomes so freaking obvious. And then why do we have fear at that point? See, this is these cards and all that stuff, these all give us another foundation to look at and say, it's okay, Logan, just do it. It's okay, just do it. But you know what we do? We look at all the circumstances and then we start to get into our program habits and then what society has programmed us into. And then we start to kind of deny the foundation of all this stuff. Another one is in, it's the boogeyman. It's the devil card. Card 15. And, sometimes when this card shows up, it can show, depending on what it's attached to, but it can mean service to self. It could mean take a chance, go toward, it could mean Capricorn. It could mean Saturn. Where's your Saturn place? Where's their Saturn place? If you get into astrological aspects, which you should be studying. It's not that difficult. In my How to Decode Yourself video, I showed you the basic fundamentals on how to read your chart, anybody's chart. A 10-year-old can do it. It's not difficult. The course I got coming out is going to be a game changer. Because anybody with half a brain, and I'm not being an ass here, but I'm just being raw, and anybody with half a brain can figure this stuff out. A lot of us are looking for confirmations because we don't trust our instincts. We're afraid to move on. We're afraid to take the step. We're afraid to go on the date. We're afraid to take the chance. We're afraid to make the phone call. Oh, I'm going to let her make the first call. And you wait, and then she's thinking the same thing. And you're at a stalemate. Just freaking make the phone call. Just make it. See, when you start to study the code and you start to study the cards and you start to see, oh my God, we make the 10 of hearts. This is happy home. It doesn't mean it's going to be guaranteed for you, but it cements into the foundation, the fabric of your predestination. There's a really good chance that this next relationship, and it may not last, folks. I know everybody wants to have the fairy tale ending. Every one of you wants it. All of you want the knight in shining armor. All of you want the queen to come into your life, to sweep you off your feet, so you can have the one to be with, and it's the one for you. It's Neo and Trinity. All of you want that. Not everybody gets that. Because people are so fixated on that, they just forget to enjoy the journey, the ride. And on top of that, what people do is they push their coat on other people. I don't like the way you do that. You shouldn't be doing that. That's where you're going to get into disagreements, and then you're going to get into a resentment and anger, and then you're going to have people lashing out. And again, if you stay in the lower chakras, the odds of you having a very dissolving the odds you have a very this relationship all the time is very high. You gotta be here in the heart space as much as you can. That's where your best experiences are going to be. You do you, I'm going to do me. That's the true soulmate. That's like the give and give, right? Like you give, I give. It's a reciprocation. It's the boomerang. All right, let's keep going a little bit and I'll get into some of your questions. So we have this card right here, card number 68 or card number 69. It's the Five of Pentacles. Now, typically when this card's up, the tarot reader is going to tell you, look out, because it's like hard times. Because you know why? Because this is the game of life. But maybe you're tied to your partner with this card. And you can't just freak out and say, oh shit, that means I'm going to have a shitty relationship. And no, just what number is it? Card 68, card 69, the cards of illumination. It's the Five of Diamonds. So if you make this card up right here, if you and your partner, if you and your soulmate make up this card, this is card 31. Ride or die equals 31 in numerology. It's the 5. Looking for love. Okay, the 5 is the S. It's the sun looking for love. And it wants to have the journey with somebody else. I realize not everybody watching this broadcast may want to get into a relationship, but then I would say, why are you here? Why do I not have... Hold on, let me just change this. I have what's your question? Hold on a sec, folks. The whole time I didn't know. Hang on. Hang on a second. The whole time I didn't have my overlay. There it is. All right, that makes much more sense. All right, so if you're here, you're looking for love. I think everybody here, if you're a human being, and even if you're not, ants look for love. Everything humps. Everything procreates in this reality. But anyway, this card right here is the Five of Diamonds, and it's card 31. 31 is 3.1. It's pi. It's the Earth. It's the prison planet. It's when you come down to play out this game, you not get out until you die. Everybody wants to have the best experience with their soulmate or twin flame. Well, are you with that person? You're going to have many of them. Now, are you going to have many twin flames? I don't know. I can't say. It's a concept that someone came up with. I have no idea where it originated from. But I'm confident to tell you that everybody that you've ever been with, you were supposed to be with them. There are no accidents. 0 accidents, 0 mistakes. It's all part of your learning curve. All right, so then you get into this card right here, the World card. If you get this card pulled up, this is new change. This is the card of love. This is the 21st card in the deck. The word love equals 21. Okay, this is the World card, love. If you get this card in a tarot reading, depending on if it's combined with something right here, but it's love. So you just say, okay, this means love. Okay, then what card is attached to that? Love. The World card. And then in the tarot, it's also tied to this card right here, from the minor arcanas through the cards of illumination, this one. Card number 29 or card number 30, the Eight of Wands, because the Eight of Clubs is card 21. This is the Eight of Wands, which is tied to the Eight of Clubs. So if you get this, this is like fast moving. If you get this and this together, when you get a love reading, it means that this new love is going to be moving quickly. It's going to be moving quickly. What are you going to do about it? Do you want it to move quickly? You better get out of the way because it's coming. Then if you get this card right here, this one is the little fish in the cup right there. That means new love in the cup. The Page of Cups, the prince or the princess. Say, hey, I got a new love in my cup. So this one right here is also looking for love. If you get this one, that's what that means in a tarot reading. And then this one, it has multiple meanings right here, but what's really fascinating about this card, this card is tied to Kundalini. This card is tied to Jesus Christ, which is looking for love. And it's card number 66 in the tarot, 65 and 66. 66 is tied to the latitude, longitude of Bethlehem, the birth city of Jesus Christ. 31 degrees north, 35 degrees east. 31 and 35 is 66. This is it. This is the Kundalini that rises up, the Ida and the Pingala that rise from the root chakra all the way up to the crown. And this card right here, ladies and gentlemen, is also tied to your twin flame. This one right here. You got one flame in one hand, one flame in the other. This is like the God force holding in of the male female right here. It's the two serpents. You and your partner are going to form the serpents. And then fractally, you're going to have your own serpents inside of you. But when you come together, you now form the two serpents. The yin yang, the black and the white, the masculine and feminine. In the cards of illumination, it's going to be the Two of Diamonds, and this is it. This is the Two of Pentacles. You can see the infinity symbol there as well. All right. So that was just some of them. I mean, I could just randomly pick any card out of here and just like, the Wheel of Fortune, like if you get that one. This is typically a good card to get from a tarot reader. Like, oh, well, you got good fortune coming your way. Not necessarily, but it's card number 10. Do you live at house number 10? Do they live at house number 10? What's the numerology of the hospital you were born in? Folks, you can even take, I'm not even kidding. You should be taking your social security number, adding it up, reducing it down to a compound number, and then taking their social security number and adding it up and reducing it down and combining the two and seeing what you get. You can go that far with this. How about the dates on the calendar? When they were born, when you were born, how many days in between on the calendar? Where does that number go? Well, you can bring it into mathematics. Where does it lead to in the string of the golden ratio? Where does it lead to in the string of pi? What atomic mass on the periodic table is linked to that number? These are all big clues on how to determine where you're at right now in life with your current partner, if you want to call it soulmate, twin flame, etc., etc. Numerology of your addresses, numerology of the hospitals you were born in, the distance in between the hospitals you were born in. If you think you're with the one, I mean, I broke it down with Carrie Ann Moss and Keanu Charles Reeves in The Matrix, just those two people on the world stage as they are, not even Neo and Trinity. Check out my White Rabbit Resurrections, The Matrix, the last one I broke down. I showed absolutely with certainty that they were destined to come together to play out the actors Neo and Trinity. They're not in a love relationship, but they were in that movie. And you're inside of a movie, folks. So even though you're in a relationship and you really have kids, or you really have a Porsche in the garage, or you really have 3 houses, or you really have stocks, you really have a lawnmower and you push along and you mow the grass, it's inside of a damn movie. You're in a freaking movie. You're acting out your part. Yeah, you don't have a director giving you a screenplay every day and say, hey, go say these lines. You're not doing that. But the little voice in your head is telling you what to say. You can break down anything you can think of. I convert on the calendar all the time. Like, when did I open up my YouTube channel? How about you? Did you have a YouTube channel? What's the date on the YouTube channel that you opened up? What day on the calendar is it? And then what card of illumination is it? Is it this card? What significance does that have in your life? How about the partner you're with? Maybe they're a content creator. When did they open their YouTube channel? And then you go look at what card they are, what day that's linked to. And then you combine the two together and you find more significance. See, you want to dial this shit in as best as you can. Because I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, it's a lot about confirmation. You're looking for confirmation. That's what you're looking for. You're looking for something to tell you, yes, it's okay, Logan. This is the right way. You're on the right track. Well, forget about there's no right or wrong. You're on this journey. Everybody's fixated on being on the right track. You're always on track. You just may not be. We attach the adjective and we describe the track we're on. And if you're in a relationship and you're not on track anymore, why are you still in it? Various reasons. Then you have somebody come along and you start to you get the feeling, but then when you decode it from an esoteric position and you start to see like, holy shit, this is my next journey. It's inevitable. I know that's going to smash because people say, oh, I have choices. I can make my choice. Well, I can continue to decode myself and show you that, no, I don't have any choices. Because I'm continually seeing the code break down in front of my life. I don't know. I don't know what else to say to all of you folks. I can break down any person here watching this. And I can show you that you're being used by the code. Every single one of you. That's how confident I am. I know some of you are going to refute that. You're like, nope, not me. I can decode anybody at this point and show you. Like especially partnerships, it's so easy. Like you do a reading for somebody and you want to see your partner, you want to see, it's in the astrological chart. These cards fit inside the astrological chart. It's so easy to see it. It's ridiculous. All right, let's get to some of your questions. I'm going to look over here because this is where my my comments are coming in at. So I see some questions in. Okay, so here's a gift from me to you. Okay? And I'm telling you all this because I want you to take advantage of all this stuff. Do I do tarot readings? Yes. However, there's a lot of resources on YouTube where you can anybody right now can go on YouTube. You can type in your astrological sign, your sun sign. Now, you got to remember something. Please remember this. A lot of you are double sun signs. And that means you are going to be a different sun sign in the sidereal versus the tropical. So if you're going to get a tarot reading online, I would suggest watching both and just taking what you can from each one. Which one do you resonate with? You got to go with your instincts. You got to be unbiased about these things. You got to be authentic with this stuff. But if you just go into YouTube and you type in any kind of astrological sign, and you type in, 2023, like Aquarius 2023 tarot, you'll find countless readers. And you can overwhelm yourself with them because a lot of them don't know what they're doing. And that's not to poo-poo on it. That's my opinion, by the way. They just don't really know how to interpret the cards. But then again, I'm just telling you from my perspective is, see, I refine the readings so I can take any I'm tarot reading online, and I can take it and I can interpret it through your life based upon your cards, because now you're refining it to the point to what's your cards? What are your cards? What are your birth cards? What are your spiritual cards? What are your composite cards? What are your planetary ruling cards? What cards do you make up with this person you're interested in? What cards do you make up with their spirit? What's planetary ruling cards do you make up? Overall, what's the cards you make up? Once you get all these cards laid out and then you go do the tarot reading, it's freaking a game changer. Because then you get dialed into the code and you can start to see that you can just put the thing on mute and just watch the cards they pull, and you can have fun with it. That's what you can do. So Red Rose, what about the Four of Spades regarding the subject of love? It's too vanilla of a question. I wouldn't even know where to start, because you got to take into consideration every single one of these cards. Every single one throughout history has been matched up with every single one. Every single one has been matched up with every single one. And essentially, it's not just like, oh, well, I have the Ace of Diamonds and she has the Three of Spades. Is it going to work for us? Please, I hope you're not getting readings from people like that. But you need to take all the layers. You need to look at your astrological. You need to look at, like, in sidereal, the D1 chart, the D9 chart, which is the love chart. Those are the two primaries. You don't need to look at anything else. The tropical, it's going to be different with the tropical. Where's your Venus? Where's your Mars? That's what makes up the masculine and feminine. What degrees are they at? See, if you're a fan of astrology, this is how deep I go with it. If you're a fan of astrology, matter of fact, let me see if I have this open. Hold on. Hang on a sec. Okay. Let me show you this. Oops. So this chart right here, I use for my readings. This is a graphic I created, and what you're looking at here are the 12 houses of astrology. And then this is one way you can incorporate the chakras to where they're even, because obviously there are 7 chakras and there are 12 houses, 13 if you include the center point. So I expanded this, and I feel like this is one way. I'm not saying this is absolute now. This is one way to where you can take a look at astrology. And, I feel like these astrological signs, they pair, these houses pair, because this number one house, this first house is ruled, this should be, Mars. This first house is ruled by Mars. Here's Mars right here. It's the first house, and the first card in the deck is the Magician card. Okay, now we all have this. Okay, we all have the Magician card here. But then we come to the second house, and it's ruled by Venus. So now we have Mars and Venus, which is the masculine and feminine. So these pair up, this 1 and 2. And you're going to find this in nature. You're going to see, and you're going to find it in the golden ratio. You're going to find it in the string of pi. You're going to find it in prime numbers. You're going to find it in the sine and cosine waves. These numbers, they pair up together. 1 pairs up with 2. 2 pairs up with 3, et cetera, et cetera. And I've placed all the planets. This is where These planets rule these astrological signs. So you want to look and see, like, what does your chart look like? What does their chart look like? You know, what is their chart? You can bring in the tarot cards beyond this, because this is just the 12 tarot cards. Like, I can take, you know, the moon card is the 18th card. I can place the moon card right here. The 18th card, the moon card. I can place the 19th card, the sun card. So if you're born on the 5th, if you're born on, let's say, October 5th, and they're born on June 19th, well, this would be a connection for you, because the sun, which is the 19th card, rules the 5th house. So you would want to see, like, what's in your 5th house? What's in their 5th house? Is there any celestials there? What degrees are they at? You know, this house typically, you know, I see a lot of tarot readers that tell you, oh, this is Gemini energy. It can be, but, you know, when you synchronize it properly, it's the 6th card. Well, it's in the 6th house. And who's this? Gemini. Who's this? It's Virgo. And Virgo is Mercury. Now, Mercury rules Virgo and Gemini, so it can be Gemini energy. But by default, this Lover's card is going to be the number 6, which is tied to what element on the periodic table? Carbon. And that's what we're made up of, the 666. That's why I say be the best little devil you can be. This is carbon right here. And it's ruled by Mercury the messenger. See, Jesus was born of a virgin. The only virgin in the zodiac is this one right here, 6. He was a messenger, Mercury. And then across the way, he was a fisher of men, and you get into Pisces. He was the hangman, coming down here to become man or woman. And now you get the rulers of Neptune and Jupiter, if you're going to go new school and old school. But you should look at all these houses and who rules them and you got to jump around and know what tarot cards you are. This is how you find your soulmate connections here, and how strong you are with this code with these people. And I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, you're looking for confirmations. That's what a lot of you are just looking for, to solidify your relationship. Because that's what's going to take for you to be all in. See, a lot of you in relationships, you're not all in right now. You got 1 foot in and 1 foot out. You're looking for the next opportunity. You're not all in. I've been there myself. What is it going to take for you to get both feet into the hoop, into the circle, to be all in the relationship? Sometimes it takes confirmation. And then as you start to study your partner, study this soulmate, your twin flame, like, this is the one. Study that person. Know their ins and outs. You must communicate. You must tell them everything about yourself, because this is it. This person is it. You don't hold on to anything. You release everything. You're all in. You get confirmation with the cards. You get confirmation with the cards of illumination. You get confirmation of the high school you went to, your high school mascot. What's their high school mascot? What's your high school mascot? Are there any significances there? You want to do every single thing you can possibly imagine when it comes to your code and their code. Because, ladies and gentlemen, I'm telling you right now, if you want to have the greatest love story ever told, you gotta decode it. It ain't just gonna come to you. I mean, it's easy to say, this is the great. I mean, how many people say, they do this with their moms too. Like Mother's Day comes and they'll social media. Oh my! I want to just say Happy Mother's Day to the greatest mom ever. Well, you might as well get in line, because everybody thinks their mom's the greatest, and they're all right. It's the same thing with love relationships. Is your partner, male or female, are they the greatest thing ever in your life? You're looking for confirmation for that. How do you do that? Folks, I'm telling you, if you start to pay attention to movies, you randomly pick a movie Like, I'll give you an example. So this song that I chose, this song that I chose for the beginning of this transmission was this song by Billy Idol. This is what popped into my mind. You see, when something pops into your mind, it's a clue for you. It's a sign for you. You should stop what you're doing, take a moment to go check out what it's telling you. And I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, this is my truth. This is what life's all about. It's spirit saying, I want to go play the game. I want to go chase a piece of ass. And now I want to play out a fantasy. I'm just being fun here. Not trying to be like, gross. And I'm just having fun with this. Both male and female spirits now. And the spirit may not even have a sex to it. We don't know. We don't know anything beyond the physical. We know nothing. We just have opinions of what we think it might be. But all we can do is define what's here now in this reality. And so this song popped into my head before I decided to do this presentation tonight, this live transmission. This is the song that popped into my head. And then like this song comes in, you can decode it, right? So you can take this, and then you have the B-side, Blue Highway. Like if you have a song pop in your head, maybe you want to dedicate it to your lover that you're with now. Maybe you wanted to dedicate it to the person you're dating. Like, oh my God, this may be my soulmate. Then you like, how do you figure it out? Well, figure out how long this. I mean, look at this. The length of the song, the single is 3 minutes and 47 seconds. You know what that leads to? That. Right there, the G-O-D. It's not exact, but it's 374. It's right there. This is my truth. This is what I see. It's God coming down here to play out man or woman. And then everybody freaks out about seeing this. Oh, there it is. It's demonic. It's satanic. It's Luciferian. He's holding up the eye. There it is. This is your eye and your brain, folks. It's unification. I mean, even the label chrysalis, what does chrysalis mean? These are all clues. It's transformation, transmutation. It's spirit coming down to play the game of flesh. And it's fantasy. You're in a dream. You're in a movie. But you can decode all this. Blue Highway, flesh for fantasy. If you take this and you put it into numerology, you take the Blue Highway. It's the B side. I do this a lot. Whoops. So that's 64, tied to the 64 possible codons in the DNA, tied to the 64 squares on a chessboard, representing duality. It's spirit coming down to play duality. And then you add up this right here, Blue Highway, 102. What is the 102? Then I'm going to go to the periodic table and I'm going to look and see what element on the periodic table it links to. And it's this element called rhodium. The rose that gives the bees honey. What's 45? It's this. So what is flesh for fantasy? Why did this song pop into my head talking about soulmates and twin flames? Folks, why did you come here? Why are you freaking here in this reality? Have you ever considered why you're here? Flesh for fantasy, Blue Highway. It leads to Pandora's box. And if you go and look at the 45th card in the deck, it's this. It's tied to the 9 of Cups. And if you don't use that, it's going to be tied to the 10 of Cups. You don't use the Fool as 0 and 22. This doesn't use the 0. It takes out the Fool. So these numbers encroach. So it's either going to be the 9 of Cups or the 10 of Cups. Wishes, hopes, and dreams being fulfilled. Happy home. Pandora's box. Looking for love. Looking for your soulmate when you come down here. That's what you're doing. All of us are doing that. And many of you, you're looking for confirmations on how to get there, how to find it. Am I with the right person? Should I leave this person? Should I stay in this relationship? And again, I don't think there's any right or wrong ways about this. You're on the journey, folks. That's what you're on this journey. And, how do you think you got here? If you just look at that, how do you think you got here? Two people humped. That's how you got here. If they didn't hump, you wouldn't have gotten here. And a lot of you, if you get into the whole aspect of the church, a lot of you were born, or a lot of you were birthed, a lot of you were created out of marriage, out of wedlock. A lot of your parents humped before they were married. So if we just remove all these layers of everything, just remove it. Because you go back to the theological aspects, you go back to the old times, there were multiple husbands and wives, multiple. Well, why? How come that's not the way it is now? Because times change. But if we just strip away all the crap, if you just strip it all the way, all the programming, even these cards and the birthdays, and if you just strip it all away, what are you left with? You're left with the journey in front of you. If you just woke up every day and be like, this path I'm on is the path I'm on. I'm not going to give an adjective to it. See, some people, like, did the shark get to choose to be a shark? It's a freaking predator. Did it get to choose that? No, it was born in the ocean. And then when it grows up to be a predator. And the fish don't like it. But that's the shark's doing its job. I don't want to get into too much of this beyond the soulmate aspect. But you do have these people that are predators out there that are looking for prey, and we can get into bipolarism, being narcissistic, and all that stuff. I think we all have these traits, some more than others. We're all bipolar. We all have some narcissism in us, all of us, including you. You do too. You just may not have a lot to notice. But if you get into like attracts like, and you get into energy, then what would be the smart thing to do if you believe in that kind of stuff? What would you want to do on the world stage? You want to raise your frequency. So you want to get here. See, if you're single, are you here? Are you right here? Are you in this space? Are you in the neutrality? Are you in the green? Are you in balance? Okay, are you here? And then if you want to go have fun, where is it in the chakras where you go have fun? You go down, you go low, where the sex organs are at. That's where all the fun's at. And without those chakras, without the hellish regions, without the lower chakras, you would have never been born, ever. People don't take this stuff into consideration. If I start getting, I'll talk about some of these cards. The King of Diamonds is card number 39, okay? So, let me show you this. And I'm going to tell you for everybody, because I send these graphics to everybody if you need them, okay? This is something new that I've created. If you've reached out to me for graphics 6 months ago, 3 months ago, you wouldn't have gotten this one. But this is what I call the bingo chart for the cards of illumination. So each one of these spaces they're numbered. And I know this is accurate because the King of Spades fits here. Let me see if I have it in order. Okay, so this side right here, the Master Life configuration, even the Spirit configuration, this King of Spades is card number 52. And you can't go to the left, you got to go to the right. So this is going to be space number 51. This is card number 51. This is card number 50. And then where do you go from there? Well, you're already going right to left, so you got to go here. And so now you get space number 49 right here. And space number 49 is the Seven of Hearts and the Ace of Spades. The Ace of Spades is the Twin Flames card, folks. That's what it is. The Ace of Spades, card number 40. And it's paired with the Seven of Hearts. Okay, so let me just show you that. Whoops. With the tarot. So you can see what I'm talking about. 49 is tied to the words down in a hole in numerology. Going down into the hole, into matter. 49. Maybe you have this as your composite card with your partner. So here it is. This is the spirit card that sits in space number 49 right here. And then it pairs up with the Ace of Spades, the Ace of Swords. And the Ace of Spades is card number 40. And 40 is tied to death and regeneration. There it is. So these two cards essentially sit in space number 49. Spirit coming down, and what are you going to do? This card is about choices, illusions. It's tied to the game of life. Like this is you, the spirit, and you're like, okay, here's the catalog in front of me, and since we're talking about soulmates, I'm going to go down and play the game of life. And these are the like, if you're male, you'd be like, these are all the girls I get to choose from. And then if you're female, you can be like, these are the dudes that I get to pick from. This is going to be my knight in shining armor for this round. And then the life card that pairs with that one is the Ace of Swords, the Ace of Spades. And together in the cards of illumination, they equal the number 47. What is 47 if you've been paying attention? Tetragrammaton. Silver. You see, that's why if you've been paying attention to the show Lucifer on Netflix, you don't have to like the whole, but what is he talking about? The Silver City. What is the Silver City? This is the Silver City. You're in it. And you're looking for love when you come down here. Where the hell's the Ace of Spades? Okay, I can't find there it is. So these two right here occupy space 49. The Ace of Spades and the Seven of Hearts. Seven, in this context right here, the Seven of Hearts means the completion of love. Fire. This is fire now. So it's fire from the 7th degree, which is the crown, coming down to go down to the Ace of Spades, which is the tailbone, the root chakra. So now you're a spade. All the spades are tied to mankind. This is card number 40. And the words twin flames equals the number 40. It's this card. It means death and regeneration. When you go to the periodic table, the element zirconium is element 40. Zirconium's most abundant atomic mass is 89. 89 is the 24th prime number. We have the X chromosome, the 24th chromosome. Then we have 24, and then it's the 11th Fibonacci number. 11 means the brain. Brain equals 11 in numerology. Okay? The brain is the yin yang. The brain is the receiving station between us and the spiritual realm. And I'm going to tell you, this card right here is tied to Westworld. If you watch my Westworld Decoded, Westworld equals 40. This is the card that's tied right to it. Now, I'm not saying anything beyond that. You've got to be the decision maker. And I don't want to get off topic of soulmates, but I'm just telling you, these two cards are kind of the deciding factors when you come down and play the game of life. And that's exactly how that works with the bingo chart here. Let me keep going. Let me show you a little bit more. So you got to find out what your card number is. Or what your card is. Okay, you come over here. Like, where's your card over here? Like, maybe you're the Jack of Spades. Card number 50, it's card number 50. Over here, it's here in space number 50. It's card number 50. Over here, it's going to be in space 34. So we come here and here it is. It's in space 34. So if this is you right here, where's your partner? And then you can add up these numbers. So let's say your partner is the king of diamonds. Somebody who's asking about what's the king of diamonds right here. It sits in the Mars-Venus line. It's card number 39, this is one of the cards tied to Lucifer, the light bringer, because Lucifer equals 39 in numerology. The king, Lucy in the sky with diamonds. And then if you're paired up with the Jack of Spades, well, you're going to be space 34 and space 30. So now you have a total of 64. 64 is tied to flesh for fantasy. And then you got to know, like, what does the Jack of Spades mean? What does the King of Pentacles mean? What does that mean? So then you can get into the tarot. And the Jack of Spades is right here. The Knight of Swords. This is tied to life is but a dream. And then you get into the last card in the deck. If you use the Fool of 0 and 22, and it's the King of Pentacles, card 78. So then we can take 78 and add it to 62. And you're going to get 140. And 140 is going to be tied to 58, which is the Puppet Master. So these are very significant layers when you want to study who you are and why you're here with partnerships. Just this alone. I got this coming out with the course. How to do this. And then, these charts, they all change. This is my book. You can't buy this book, but I can tell you where to get these online, the graphics of them. If you're interested in that, I can tell you where you can get those. Let me see if I can find it real quick, because I don't want to get a million emails. Let me see if I can find it for you. Those of you that want the charts. Because you should look at, like, what's your age right now? And then whatever age you're at, you want to know where your card sits, what space it sits in, what age are they at, what space are they at? Add up the spaces together, reduce it down. Like, so many different ways to look at this. And then looking at your lineages of your cards, there's a lot of ways to look at this. Here we go. Okay, so I'm going off the great website, AquariusMaximus.com, but here I'm going to put it in the text box. I'm going to pin it in case all of you want to look. There it is. I pinned it to the top. So all you got to do is click on the spread that correlates to what age you're at, and you can find out what space you're on, and you can add up and find out what your partner is on, the soulmate you think, the twin flame you're at, and you can read it this way. But there's more ways to read it than just the space, the bingo chart space that you're on. It's like what card sits in that space, and what tarot card does that link to. So there are layers after layers after layers. I'm reading your comments now. Well, you can twin flame is 37, twin flames is going to be 40. So you can single out that word if you want to. You can bring it to a singular level, twin flame. But then you have to completely change the perspectives of everything, because now you're talking singularity, not, a dualistic aspect to it. So twin flame 37 is tied to Eye in the Sky Shepherd. It's tied to the Jack of Diamonds card. So it's going to give you a completely different outlook. That letter S, man, is a game changer. It changes from singular to plural. Twin flames is plural. It's not singular. Which is why twin flames is 40. So if you're using that concept, you're going to be linked to this. So you could go to chart number 40 of what I showed all of you. I pinned the comment at the top. Go to chart number 40 and then find out where your card's located at. What card is supposed to be there by default? Where would you place that card in your astrological chart? Where would you place that card in their astrological chart? Jimbo Slice, when he says numerology, he's just using gematria. No, let me clarify that for all of you, okay? None of us, not one single person here uses gematria. Gematria is the coding of words into numbers. We don't do that. We decode. You get the number and then you got to do something with the number, and that's numerology. See, if you're gonna write a book and you're gonna code it, you're gonna script it, you type in the words and you get the outcome, and maybe you want to take an S off here, maybe you want to change the word from and to a different word or something like that. That's coding. You're not doing that. You're decoding. People just use gematria because it's a common buzzword in the decoding world. You must learn numerology, the science of numbers. Gematria is not that. What's up, Crystal? Is the spirit number the same as soul number? I guess. I mean, spirit and soul both equal the number 19 in numerology. So that's a good question. Let me just show you how beautiful the tarot is. This is how I know, like, tarot is the real deal. The words, let me show it real quick so you can see this. The word spirit is 19, just like the word soul, just like the word battery, okay? Because we live inside of a self-contained system and it's a battery. That's what we charge up. We're little individual batteries, but this self-contained system is a battery surviving off the positive and negative emotions that we give off. And it's also tied to this. It's the apex predator. And then besides the spirit, you also have what's called an ego. And you get into the 15. Okay? But it's run by this. See? Because the devil is the spirit in the sky. Once you come down and become man or woman, you get the ego. And the ego is the 1 and the 5, which is the 6. And 6 is carbon. And carbon is 20, which is going to lead to the words, duality. And in duality, we all have this. You see? But anyway, I don't want to get too far outside the scope of this soulmate stuff here. But this is what you're dealing with. You as an individual, you need to decode you, and you need to decode yourself. Well, you don't need to. You should be decoding yourself to the deepest depths of what you can decode yourself from. Here's your spirit. And then here, that's why I say be the best little devil, because the devil card, 15, ego is 15. So there's spirit and ego right there. And all of you have it. Be the best little devil you can be. See, when you're born into this world, ladies and gentlemen, you're born pure. And when you move through time, you become this. You become weighed down. You become heavy with experiences, with breakups, with infidelity issues. People cheat. People lie. People steal. And, ladies and gentlemen, I mean, at some degree, you're going to fall into some of these categories. Because let's just be real with one another, all of us here. We all have lied. All of us lie. In relationships, all of you lie. Why do you do it? Because you don't want to look bad. Because you don't want to have an argument. Because it's like, oh, well, I don't want to tell him because he's just going to blow up at me and it's not worth it and it's not a big deal, so I'm just going to tell a lie. But what if we couldn't lie? That movie Liar Liar with Jim Carrey. What if you couldn't lie? What if you had to tell the truth about everything? Do you know how much pressure would be relieved off your shoulders? Because you're not trying to hide anything. Like I've had, I don't want to get into something like, I've had people come at me like, oh, Logan, I'm going to tell people you went to prison, and go ahead. I've already told everybody. I got nothing to hide. Don't care. Been married 3 times. Don't care. Nothing to hide. Go study it. Go read up on it if you want to. There's the dirt. I got no pressure. Same thing with the relationship, soulmate stuff. If you want to have the very best experience with your partner, tell them everything. If you think it's the one, if you've confirmed it with the cards and the confirmation and you figured like this is the one, then what do you tell them everything? Everything. Why not? A lot of people don't want to do that because they're afraid they're not going to be liked. They're afraid. And we all are guilty of this. I'm not just telling you this because I don't live it, folks. This is me being authentic. We all are guilty of doing these things. Soulmate, twin flame, doesn't matter. But if it's the one, if you believe you've had the one and you've studied, done the astrological and like, okay, am I letting my partner be them? Are they letting me be me? Are we matched up? What is our energy? What are our tarot cards match up to? What are our cards of illumination I'd match up to? What are our birthdays? Like you can also take, just by the way, there's another way you can add up your birthdays. All right. And to know what tarot card you're linked to, and you can go read about the tarot card that it's linked to, so you can get another description of what you guys match up with and create as a compound number, et cetera, et cetera. I'm going to give you an example right now. This is another way to do it. Soulmate, twin flame connection. Here it is. You ready? So let's say your birthday is on the 3rd and their birthday is on the 16th. You're born on the 3rd, they're born on the 16th. What is 3 plus 16? 19. So what's the 19th card in the cards of illumination? The 6 of clubs. What does the 6 of clubs mean? Go read about it. You make together, compoundly, you make up the number 19. I've already told you what the 19 is. It's tied to the apex, it's tied to the sun, it's tied to spirit, tied to the devil. But we can't just say, well, there it is, the devil card, and you got to stop there. No, because this reality is everything. It contains everything, good and bad. I'm trying to find the card. Let me give you another example because I can't find the damn card. So let's say that you're born on let's say you are born on the 9th and they're born on the 5th. You're born on the 9th and they're born on the 5th. Well, then that would be 9 plus 5, that's 14. I'm sorry, no. You were born on the 9th. They were born on the, hold on. 17. 8. They were born on the 8th. You were born on the 9th. They were born on the 8th. That's 17. Okay? So 17 in the cards of illumination. Jeez, I can't find these cards tonight. You were born on the 9th, they're born on the 8th. Or you're born on the 10th, they're born on the 7th. It's the 4 of clubs. 17th card of the deck. So you go read about the 4 of clubs. That's what you make up through the birthday aspect. And then the 4 of clubs is the 4 of wands. This is card number 25 or 26. This is tied to the house. The house always wins. 26 is tied to the element iron. Go read about iron. Maybe you're deficient in iron. Medical astrology. These are all layers of you and your partner and like what you make up. Because when you start to share energy together, you become like energy together. Sometimes if you're in a strong part, this is my opinion, but let's say you haven't been with the person that you want to be with, or you haven't been with this person in thousands of years. And this time around, you get to be with that person. And this person just really does it for you. I mean, they just knock your socks off. then, in my opinion, you want to tell them everything about you, everything you've done under the sun. I mean, this person is your ride or die. See, because communication in soulmate connections, twin flame connections, this is where we fall short. If you're allowing your partner to be them and they're allowing you to be you, and you know everything about them and they know everything about you, and you know what your cards you make up, and you know how you roll and what you, because when you come together with the energy, man, you form these energies. If you're born on the 19th and they're born on the 10th, you form the number 29. 29 is tied to the 3 of diamonds card. 29 is tied to the element copper. Maybe if you got 2 copper, rings or bracelets, maybe that would enhance your life. These are things you can play around with. Soulmate connection, twin flame connection. These are the layers I feel we need to move towards, or we should be moving towards during this next cycle. Because again, if you're with somebody and you haven't been with them in thousands and thousands of years, maybe you haven't been with this person since the age of, Libra, which was a long freaking time ago, all halfway around the circle. If you take the ages into consideration, that's like, 12, 13,000 years ago. You haven't been with this, you haven't found each other during this lifetime in 12 or 13,000 years. You keep missing one another. And then finally, this cycle, you get to find each other. And they just do it for you. And you're just madly in love with this person. How do you keep it going? How do you keep that soulmate connection going? You got just everything about yourself. You just unfold it like a flower. There are no accidents. There are no mistakes. I feel like that's how we get close, how we get closer and closer to finding the one that will set you free. Finding the one that is going to elevate you. Finding the one that is going to make you, like if you're somebody who wants to transcend out of here, maybe you need to be with the person that you're going to transcend with. And maybe part of the game is that you got to find this person, and maybe there is some free will here where you may or may not find them. I'm leaving this all on the table, predestination or not. I'm leaving all this on the table, all these possibilities on the table, because there are many possibilities here. But I feel like a lot of these layers, and why I wanted to bring this out tonight, astrology, et cetera, I think these are very important to talk about, because the more you're willing to take on the code, the more you're willing to spend time on your partner. I mean, I have postulated this, and I'm going to say it again so I can be very crystal clear for some of you that are paying attention, that really resonate with this message. You may come together with somebody you haven't been with for thousands of years. And this person was really powerful in a past life. And maybe you were too. And it's just possible that you will come together and you'll hump and you'll procreate and you'll make a baby, and that child will save the world. What if that's how it works? Like, you're the shit, man. Like, you incarnated, like you're supposed to have a child that's going to save the world at some point, that will discover something that will be life transforming for countless people on the world stage. I go back and I've postulated this about like the story of the Terminator. I use that because a lot of people have seen that movie in the series. John Connors, Sarah Connors. He's there to save the world from the machines. But if that kid wasn't born, there would be much different outcomes. So the Terminator comes back to kill, to eliminate that. So that way there's no threat in the future. And maybe that's the way it works. People are from the future. They come back to eliminate these people that get born into this world, et cetera, et cetera. But I'm just telling you, ladies and gentlemen, what if the way this game works is you're supposed to meet this person who's your soulmate, who's your twin flame, who is the one. If you feel that in your belly, if you feel that in your heart space, maybe you're supposed to have a child with this person, man, and an incarnated child that is going to change the freaking world. Maybe you Think about it. Maybe you, not at this point right now, maybe you're here to change the world because you have some invention. And maybe you being with your soulmate, your twin flame, that person, and you know it, like there's no doubt about it. You've done the studies, you've done the decoding, you know your tarot cards, you know what numbers you're tied to. You know this is the one. That person elevates you. And you can look across the room, you're like, that person, whew, that's the one right there. That's the one. And you come together and the energy you form together composite wise, like if you have this card, right, this is the card of victory. That's what this card means. If you have this as your birth card, it means victory. Why? Because it's the number 6. And it's the 6 of clubs, which means the air suit, which precedes the diamond suit. It comes after the fire suit, the 6 of cups, the 6 of hearts. If you got a child, if you're in a relationship with somebody and you bear a child on December 25th, if you haven't checked out my Christmas decoded, check it out. Christmas, December 25th. What card is tied to December 25th? This one, the 6 of hearts. What is the 6 of hearts? It's the 6 of fire. Spirit, plasma, coming down to play the game of life. But the card that comes after in this lineage is the 6 of clubs, the card of victory. 6 means completion because it's tied to it's 6 is the first perfect number. But it's tied to the Lover's card. All the 6s are tied to the 6 of cups. This is the card of Christmas right here. This is the card of December 25th. Look at what it is. It's chivalry. It's the male giving the female flowers. And we got to have fun with this. Like, what's the intentions? Come on, he wants to get in her pants. I know it's just flowers and it's just kids, but think about it, man. How did you get here? You didn't just get here by giving flowers and walking away and like, yeah, enjoy your red roses. No, you got here because they went beyond the red roses. It went beyond the chocolates. But maybe you're the real deal here, folks. Maybe you're here to save the world. If you study your children, maybe your child is here. Maybe you haven't even bore the child yet. But you're here to raise a child that's going to save the frickin' world. What if that's the case? Well, I say, like with soulmate connections and stuff, I feel like, are there relationships that people, they walk away because they just walk away because, they just don't put their heart and soul into it? Yeah, maybe. Are there relationships that people probably could have stayed in and stuck it out? And yeah, maybe. But if we live inside of a predestined script, like I say we do, then everything happens for a reason. There are no accidents. And the only thing that matters is right freaking now. What are you doing right now at this very moment? And then an hour from now, that's going to supersede what's happening right now. Let me just show all of you the charts, okay? So what I have right here is the chart for right now. I mean, I started this at 9:01, so this is the astrological chart for 9:01 p.m. here in Mexico, and where the planetary positions are. And this is, another layer of astrology that, you can take into consideration with who you are, why you're here, your soulmate, et cetera, et cetera. Like, this is the overall energy for everybody. Not just me, not just, somebody, it's everybody is working with this energy right now. And, a lot of this energy, if you look at the Mars energy, it's inside the sign of Rohini. Rohini is ruled by Brahma, which is the creator god. Mars is testosterone. So a lot of the energy right now, never mind the 10th house, that changes through the hours, but the Mars is in Rohini in Taurus. Taurus is procreation. It's humping. It's building. It's Brahma, the creator god. So if you're looking for love, if you're looking for a soulmate, you look at the chart of the now moment, like if you're going to map something out, if you want to actually do predictions, if you want to go and say, I want to do something on certain days, you'd plug it into the chart and you can go into the Western. The Western's going to be different. Mars is going to be inside the sign of Gemini. So it's going to be in both Gemini and Taurus. Both of them are going to be accurate. Both of them are going to have merit to them. You cannot say one is more important than the other. It's putting yourself in a box if you do that. These systems, as I showed through, where is it at? Through this. These all encroach into one another. Aries becomes Aries and Taurus. Taurus becomes Taurus and Gemini. Gemini becomes Gemini and Cancer, and so on and so forth. And in the very dead center is the gamma rays, 13, violet. Okay, in the dead center. And all these defaulted cards are going to sit right here. This is how you properly synchronize these cards. If you do this, okay, you know exactly what you're here to do from a default perspective. But this, when you read these charts and you look at like, okay, well, for everybody right now, the dragon's head, the north node of the moon is in Taurus and it's in Aries. It's in both. And these are kind of very similar, right? Aries is the seed planter. Taurus is the cultivator of the seed, right? This Aries releases the seed into the fallopian tubes. Taurus fertilizes the seed. And now you have birth because this is Rohini. Rohini is ruled by Brahma. 4 is the box, the cube, the square. You got Mars right there. Everybody, the world right now is running on Mars right here. And then you look at where's the Venus? Well, the Venus is over here in the sign of Capricorn, in the 23rd nakshatra. These are all layers you can look at when looking for soulmates, when looking for a partner, when looking to do something, when looking at your own individual charts. A lot of it has to do with the Rahu and Ketu. I feel like these are probably the two most important pieces of astrology, period, bar none. More than any, forget about the sun and the moon and all that. Rahu and Ketu, the north node and the south node of the moons, if you want to go in Western. And you're going to have Scorpio and Taurus. Right now, the energy, the cause of the energy on the world stage is through Taurus and it's through Aries right now for everybody. And you got to know what this stuff means. And so when you're looking for a soulmate, when you're looking for a partner, if those of you that are single, you take a look at all this stuff here. I know it gets complex and you're like, I don't know how to make a mountain out of a molehill from this. Like, this is a lot of energy to deal with. This is a lot of moving parts. And there is a lot of moving parts. That's why you got to be really good at this kind of stuff. But if you just simplify it and you realize, a lot of the players on the world stage, this is a unit. They work as a team. All these celestials, they work as a team, along with the zodiac signs, and the sidereal has the nakshatras, which is the advantage over tropical. Doesn't have that. But you can take the nakshatras and place them over the tropical, which I do, to get another layer. See, I'm going to tell all of you, let me see, do I have my chakras here? I don't. I'm going to say with very bold and a certainty here that sidereal is your root chakra and tropical is your crown chakra. I'll say that again. Sidereal is your root chakra and tropical is your crown chakra. Because this is the precession of the equinoxes and this works off of the fixed stars. Root and crown. You got to read from both, folks. And if you're going to look for a soulmate, obviously in, sidereal especially, they're going to look at the Venus placement, the moon placement, running your emotions. You got to look at all these places. What degrees are they at? Venus is at 18 degrees. Was at 18 degrees at 9:01 p.m. here in Mexico, where I started this transmission. Well, then, okay, well, where's their Venus? Venus is at 18, Mars is at 8. What's 8 plus 18? 26. What does that mean? Well, you got to know. Then you bring alchemy into that. That's the element iron. Well, what does that mean? Well, it's tied to the house and the casino. What does that mean? You can start looking at days on things, events that happen. But we're looking at soulmate connections here, folks. And you got to incorporate astrology into all this. And then you can get into mathematics. You get into the digits of phi. You can get into the digits of pi. You can get into prime numbers. 40. 173 is the 40th prime number. This is twin flames. 173 is the permutation of 137, which is the 33rd prime number. This means death and regeneration. We go to the 40. 40's right here, zirconium. This is tied to twin flames. Zargon is gold, lead to gold. 91 is battery. 91 is tied to Lucifer, the light bringer. Without Lucifer, there's no game down here. All right, this is, you got to scrape away all the crap, all the stories and the mythologies. I know they're important. I use them as well. But what you're left with is the things we can measure, the things that are tangible. These elements are real. A lot of them we need for our body. This periodic table. A lot of these are essential. What's your element in, what's your birthday? Like, I'm born on the 4th. My element's beryllium. What's yours? What's your partner's element? What is it? What do they add up to? Like, if you're born on the 13th, you're aluminium, 26.982. And then you take your partner and maybe they're born on the 17th. They're chlorine, 35, and you add 35.45 to 26.92. What do you get? And what number does that? Do you start to look for that number? You put that number down in your pad, your notepad, and you start to look for that number. What does that number mean? How can I bring that into fruition? 13 and 17. What number does that add up to? 30. So then you can go to the 30th element. It's zinc. What does zinc mean? Start studying this stuff. All these numbers are all clues. So if you're somebody who really wants to figure this out, like if you really want to dial yourself into this reality, these are the layers that I measure. This is stuff that I do. This is our reality, folks. I mean, just, Christmas alone. When I decode it, like, look, I was born and raised in the Jehovah's Witness organization. One of the heaviest, the hardest religions ever, man. And all the holidays were off limits. Because they were pagan. And I thought pagan was such a bad word. And all it means is nature. Pagan means nature. Worshiping nature. So if you just forget about worshiping it, just observe it. All these numbers on the calendar, all these dates, they lead to cards. These cards are part of who we are, why we're here. Your partner, the connection you make together. I mean, some of you have this connection right here. Some of you are 6 of hearts, some of you are 6 of clubs together. The 19th card and the 6th card, that's going to lead to the number 25. Now you bring in the Queen of Clubs. So this is your ego card though. So if some of you are the 6 of hearts and 6 of clubs, you end up being the Queen of Clubs. That's what your compound card is, card 25. And you got to start. The Queen of Clubs is the Queen of Wands. Queen of Wands is card 35, 34 and 35, tied to the simulation. Like how deep down the rabbit hole do you want to get to? What if you're really a big deal on the world stage? And you're not acting like it. Because you're still stuck in the past and a lot of you focus on this 5 of Cups energy, like in a relationship. This is what a lot of you are doing. Let me give you the picture. And maybe I'm the inspiration for you to say, you know what? Yeah, I'm going to sever that. I don't know. But a lot of you are living through this energy right now, right here. And this card right here, see that individual? He's staring at these cups that are falling over, but behind him there's 2 cups. All he's got to do is turn around. But he's in mourning. He's depressed. Doesn't want to let go of the partner because he's got too much time invested, or she's got too much time invested, or there's too much to lose. And they don't trust. They don't see the cups behind them over here. So they wallow. And they get miserable and they lower their frequency, and then everybody around them feels the lowering of the frequency. And then that's how the relationship starts to spiral out of control, because now there's no happiness. And eventually the one partner is going to be like, enough's enough, I'm out of here. Because I just don't jive with that I can't deal with your depression anymore. Because like you want to be on top of the world, they're sitting right here. Maybe they're not into the relationship anymore. Something happened. But when are you going to get out of this space? How long do you want to stay here? How long do you want to stay in this 5 of Cups? Some of you watching this is where you're at with your relationship right now. You got to take it into consideration. You can't just look at it like, this is the one and I got to stay with this one. And like folks, marriage is not, in the 1940s, 1930s, 1950s, you can't compare right now to back then. Back then, people are going to tell you, well, you got to stick it out. Well, divorce is only if there's infidelity. Well, I mean, how long are we going to continue on with these things, these concepts? Because if you're not feeling it, if you don't have both feet in, why are you still there? You don't trust, you're wallowing in that sadness. You don't see the cups behind you. Like, you have so much potential. And this is why decoding yourself on an individual basis is the most important thing. Because then you start to see, like, I'm a freaking star. Like, I'm freaking awesome. I'm amazing. But your partner's, you're a piece of shit. You're no good. You rely on me, I take care of you, et cetera, et cetera. And so you're just not the master of your domain. And so you just stay like this all the time. That's not a fun relationship to be in. So like, are you ready to get out of that and move into something new? Like, and again, folks, if you're with somebody right now, don't think that it's going to last forever. Like, you got to be just open. I'm not saying anything beyond that. I'm just saying is like, because there are plenty of you that have had relationships and you said, this is the one that's gonna, oh my God, this one is amazing. And then 4 years, 5 years, you're pissed because you're like, I freaking wasted 5 years of my life. No, you didn't waste shit. You spent 5 years, you learned something, and now you're on to the next thing. What's wrong with that? Why is that so bad? This reality is based on looking for love. You're either some people stay in it forever and that's their code and that works for them, except some people don't. But if we just remove these descriptions of like, it has to be, I got to be with this person forever because mom and dad did it. And I got to do what they did. Got to make my mom and dad proud because they did it. So I'm just going to be miserable and I'm going to stick this relationship out because they did it. And I got to prove to them that I can do it. What if twin flames require people to become the most badass version of themselves? Folks, you should become the most badass version of yourself no matter what. All of you, and this is just my opinion, I'm not going to be love doctor here. I believe that you do not need to get into a relationship. There's a difference between needing and wanting. Do you want to be in the relationship? You don't need to. There'll be ramifications if you get out of it, both good and bad. But you want to be in the I want to be in this relationship. Because relationships are designed to complement your life, to make you higher, to put you on a pedestal. If you have a partner that starts to bring you down, to drag you down, and we're all guilty of it, but we can release these shackles to say, you know what? Fly away. I want you to be a superstar. That's elevation. And I feel like that's how we're going to get to this point of this soulmate, this twin flame, to make it last longer. Because again, folks, you're here because you want that. But the trick is not having any expectations, which we all do. So it's a contradiction. Like, what if the relationship you're about to get into right now will not last past 3 years and you don't know that right now? And you'll never know. Would you get into it? See, if you had a crystal ball and you knew that the relationship, the person you're dating right now, you know, the crystal ball says, you're only going to be in this for 3 years. Would you get into it? I bet a lot of you wouldn't. If you absolutely knew that you wouldn't last past 3 years. Especially, you know, like, a lot of the ladies, man, they want the knight in shining armor. They want the one to take care of them. They want to be comforted and nurtured. And I get that. It's all part of falling in love. But I think a lot of the game changers, see, we just don't know. I think the cheat sheet of knowing is studying your code, studying their code, knowing where you're at, knowing that this is a partnership that is going to be solid. That I think will help make this relationship. Because again, folks, how long do you want to make it last? How long do you want to make this relationship? How long do you want this relationship to last? Forever? What's forever? See, if you're in a relationship right now and you don't want to be into it, I bet when you first said those vows, or when you first said, hey, let's move in together, or when you first said, I love you, or when you first said that that's my boyfriend, or that's my girlfriend, or that's my partner, I bet when you first said those words, you had no idea you end up at a dissolvement 3 years later. You didn't know that. You'll never know that. But the journey, the ride to get there, that's the most important thing. And knowing who you are and why you're here. And again, ladies and gentlemen, there could be some of you that have very big situations on the world stage where you need to procreate, to create a little buckaroo, a little baby that is going to be a star in this movie. Some of you already have kids that are going to be stars, that are going to change the world, that are going to become, fantastic musicians, or artists, or actors, or actresses that will become superstars, that will change the world, that will be influencers. And the cheat sheet, I say, is in the cards. Again, if you're with a soulmate, if you're with a twin flame, if you're looking to get in with a soulmate, if you're looking to get in with a twin flame, study these people, man. It's a cheat. It's like dating. Think about this, folks. Dating is expensive. I mean, let's just be real. It's not only expensive, it's time consuming for both parties. You ladies, you get dolled up, you probably put on extra makeup, you put on extra time to get ready. I mean, let's just be real, right? Like, I'm going to get my nails done, I got a hot date. You wouldn't have got your nails done yesterday, but you're going on a date, so now you got to spend $30, $40 on your nails, and so it's time. And it's not even just the cash, it's the time you put into it to prepare for the chase. So when you know what you're going to get, when you may not going to know everything, because they're not going to, you don't know their skeletons, you don't know their past, but when you have a little bit of a cheat sheet, and then you get confirmations through, like I'm a huge fan of like the tarot, and I can go to any tarot reader now, and I can start to see the cards they pull, and I know the cards that I have. I just, what cards do they match up with this person? You could start to see this stuff, and you can then start to see like, okay, this is going to give me the confidence to go that way. Because folks, come on, think about it. If you're single right now and you're on the market and you're looking, you got one thing on your mind: companionship. And the one thing that's not on your mind, the one thing that is absolutely not on your mind if you're single right now, is how long is it going to last? It's not on your mind. You're not even thinking about that because you don't have a crystal ball. You have no idea how long it's going to last. You're just in the mode of chasing. You're chasing him, he's chasing you. And you're playing this ridiculous game. I'm not going to text him for 2 hours, or I'm going to let him text me first. Or it's like, man, what do you want? Just freaking go after it and get what you want, man. Tomorrow ain't guaranteed. You start to do the cheat sheet. You look at the cards, you look at the tarot, you look at the birthdays, you add them up. You have all these little pieces that you can see. Why does there need to be any freaking game? Just go get what you want. It may not last. Enjoy the journey. Be free. Communicate. Go all in. And then you have to have the courage to walk away if you're not all in anymore, instead of sitting on the fringe looking in and like saying, well, I don't want to leave because I don't have any options. Or make the option. You got to make the option, folks. Sometimes you got to make that option to create. I know some of you right now are in relationships who you thought was your soulmate or your twin flame at one point in your life, and now they're not. Something changed. But they were at some point. They were the freaking holy grail at some point, and now they're not. What the hell happened? And I know you're going to blame it's them, it's their fault. They did this and they changed, and it's all them. It's all their fault. Not your fault. I know it's not your fault. That's totally fine. I can buy into that. That's your story. It's them. It's their fault. But it was the Holy Grail at one point. And now you're sitting on the fringe and you're like, what do I do here? And you're just like sitting at the stage of inertia, which is like not doing anything. You're just like, well, I can't leave, but I can't stay. I mean, you know, that meme, the road is paved with flat squirrels who couldn't make a decision. So make a decision. Instead of being a flat squirrel getting run over by the car because it just doesn't know which way to go. It just sits there. Make a decision. You're going to make there is no right or wrong decision. You will make the right decision all the time. Just make the decision. I shouldn't say you're going to make the right decision. You're going to make the decision. And the decision will always have consequences to it. Always. Both good and bad. You just got to make the decision. And it's not easy. I get it. It takes time, cultivation, courage. But if you're not all in your relationship, and I've been through this myself. If you're not all in with your current situation, who at one time was your soulmate and you're not into it anymore, well, see, you may be holding them back. Like, what if they're too chicken to say see you later, and you're too chicken to say see you later, and you're at this stalemate and no one does anything? But that if you said, hey, I'm out of here, or they said, hey, I'm out of here, you'd be like, what are you talking about? You're out of here. Oh, I'm out of here. And then you see what you did is you did them a favor, because you see, this is just me being real. This is me speaking from experience. Do you stay in the relationship because it was the Holy Grail at one point and now it's not? The wheels fell off. Do you stay in it and just stay miserable? And I say you're just being selfish, because if you let that go, you not only walk away from something that could be toxic, that is no longer the Holy Grail, but you also now have freed them up from any bondage, and now they can go out there and they can look for a new partner. But they wouldn't have done that. Someone has to come and be the courage maker. This is the card. Sometimes this is either leaving or going to. You're either in a relationship right now that was the Holy Grail. It was the greatest thing since sliced bread. Oh, this is the magic man, or this is the magic woman. I've never taken anybody home to my parents before. Oh, this is the one. Oh my God, this is the one. And you've walked away from being single. You're now going on a journey. This is typically a spiritual journey, but it's also a physical journey. Spirit going down into physical matter, saying, hey, I'm going to go play that game. Maybe you're single right now, and your twin flame is still in the spirit realm, because there's a waiting list to get in here. Now, this obviously is not going to happen when you're an adult. This would be probably, I would say, to give you a chance to meet that twin flame, there would have to be some kind of similarity in age. So maybe you're like 10 years old, or you're 7, and then there is spirit, and this is where they're at. They're at the spirit realm, and they're like, oh my God, that's my twin flame, and here's my chance. I get to go be with my twin flame. I haven't been with them for thousands of years. And they incarnate, and they get born in. Now they're 1 and you're 7, and there's a 6 age difference, whatever, or they're 1 and you're 3, and there's a 2 age difference. But this is it, the Holy Grail, right? So you decide to come down to play the game, and now your spirit entering into carbon, and it becomes either you or somebody else. And now you found each other. And if you're someone who's single, or if you're somebody who's looking to get out of a relationship, and this card comes up right here, man, it's like you're ready to walk away. You just got to have this is giving you the confidence to tell you, like, it's time. It's time for you to walk away. Now, I know a lot of people that are traditional. Again, like my parents, they've been together 51 years. 50 freaking 1. Or 52. That's a long time. They've been married more than they've been single. So if you go ask somebody from that era, they were born in the 40s. You go ask somebody from that era, like, what should you do? They're heavily like Piscean. They're heavily church. If they're invested in theology, well, they're gonna probably be influenced by those books, and they're gonna tell you, well, you got to stick with it. You got to be miserable. A lot of people stay in relationships and they're absolutely freaking miserable, but they stay in it. And then they'll tell you the story. Well, we stuck it out, but they're not happy. They're just lying to themselves. They're just not happy. I know there's some people that are. I get it. But I'm just giving you the devil's advocate here. If you just have tried everything, if you just feel like this is not it, this is not cutting it, why are you beating yourself up? Maybe you need to walk away. This can also mean walking away from a relationship. You got to turn into fire. Okay, this is a fire card. Well, in the tarot, this is going to be fire, but in the cards of illumination, it's going to be fire, but in the tarot, it's going to be water. And you got to, in the cards of illumination, you got to turn back into fire from carbon, from the spade. You got to go back into the heart, into your heart space, and be fire, and then get out of that. You got to move into fire. You got to move away from the spade, which is the physical body, and you got to now move into fire. So fire is plasma. Fire is the beginning stages of moving on. You're moving on. And you got to become that element fire sometimes. So a lot of people don't want to be fire. If you're getting a reading, like a lot of these tarot readers as well, what they'll do is they'll pull a lot of cards and there's like, well, there's a lot of fire here. Like, take into consideration what it's saying. It's you becoming fire. Fire is the very pinnacle. It's the very beginning of everything. So the fire means the beginning. You're starting over. You have the ability to create from fire, forging from the fires. So you got to this is all about the tarot, like reading the tarot and knowing the soulmate aspect and the twin flame connection. And then, there is that aspect of love isn't always on time. Sometimes you got to wait. Sometimes the other person is just not ready. Sometimes you got to give them space. And you got to be mature about this. Some people need the time. Sometimes people are tied down. They can't get out of what they want to get out of. You can't force that. You can give them ultimatums. Be like, hey man, I'm not going to wait forever. You could do that, or you got to do this, or but you can't force anything, and you can't make somebody be something because that's how you are. You got to look at someone's code, and you got to freaking study that person's code, and you got to accept that person's code. This is how they are forged from the fire. You're not going to change that. So stop trying to change people. You can't just go into it and say, well, this is my soulmate, but, well, there's this and there's... No, it's like, this is my soulmate and this is who my soulmate... This is it. That's it. And as long as you're willing to surrender to their code and let them be them, and then they, in turn, let you be you, I say that's going to give you the longest experience of a soulmate twin flame connection. I can tell you all personally, from my own experience and being very vulnerable right now, married 3 times. So a lot of people, just from the very basic fundamentals, are like, oh my God, Logan's been married 3 times. Man, what did he do? What did he do wrong? Well, in the context of I didn't do everything right, of course. But I could give you my side of the story. And I can tell you right now, there was a lot of not allowing me to be me. Like, I can tell all of you right now, so you start studying people's codes, right? You start studying my code and what I'm all about. And it says right in my charts, it says right in the descriptions of my charts, which I resonate heavily. I'm not just saying like, oh, well, that's cool. I'm just going to use that because I can use that as a crutch. No, that is my freaking code. And it says right in my code, ladies and gentlemen, It says that a majority of my time in my life will be dedicated to my work. Now, if I meet a partner who, is not okay with that, and they try to and they're not that way, they want to always be, they're codependent, that ain't going to work. If there's any insecurities and I have to work with the opposite sex, that ain't going to work. It ain't going to freaking work. Insecurities need to be dissolved and they need to be eliminated completely. When you're in a twin flame soulmate connection, man, and you're communicating and you're telling everything about everything into your relationship and you're communicating and it's your ride or die. I mean, why would you ever worry about anybody else? Because there's something in your programming from your past. You got cheated on. There's infidelity, and you're now bringing that into this relationship, and you're now putting that label onto your partner. And you're thinking, well, shit, man, it happened here. It's going to happen here. That's bullshit. Right? What matters is right now, folks. What matters about you is right now. Who you are right now, not what you were last week, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years. That doesn't matter anymore. You got to know who you are and where you're at now. You got to know who your partner is and where they're at right now. What chakras are they living in? Are they living more in the free space, the love space, or are they living more in the fear, the chaos space? A lot of people like drama. Are you okay with that? If you get involved with somebody and I know some people that love drama. They love it. They'll create it because it's a fix for them. It's their drug. Because they're programmed that they have more years of drama than not drama. So if they don't have drama in their life, they'll just stir the pot. But in the very beginning, when you get involved with somebody in a relationship like that, you may not see those signs. You're going to get the goody two-shoes person. And once the wheels fall off and the honeymoon, and you're, this soulmate connection, again, you may be wearing, and you bring in the aspect, you may be wearing karma off if you believe in that stuff. You may have to have unfinished business. You may have to meet somebody in this lifetime that you need to wear karma off. There was unfinished business, and it could be a nightmare relationship, but you got to go through it. Some of you can attest to that. Like, oh shit, yeah, I freaking went through one of those. It gives you the aspect of you can look and you have the gratitude that you're done with that. But you were supposed to. So if you can have gratitude of the aspect, like, I went through that. I was supposed to go through that because it's my destination, but that's not where I'm at now. And so you got to do some shadow work, folks. Some of you have to do shadow work with this new soulmate, this new twin flame. You got to do the shadow work. Like, what kind of shit you got to get rid of? What kind of baggage do you got to get rid of? Don't bring that shit into the new relationship. The funny part is some people show up into this new relationship and there's all their exes with them. Here we are, ready to get into a relationship with you. And what I mean by the exes is all this baggage from all the circumstances that happened with their exes, all the nightmares. You show up with all that and you now want to enter the partnership with this person. Like, I didn't sign up for that. I want to be who you are now, not your baggage. So the shadow work needs to get done. This is why decoding yourself, who you really are as a number, numerology, what your soul contract is. What is your spirit here to do? Knowing what your likes and dislikes, knowing what your strengths and weaknesses are. And then telling your partner that. Like, I work a lot. I've done it my whole life. You know what I've gotten from my partners? You work too much. You don't spend enough time with me. You're not paying attention. Get off your phone. Stop paying attention to that. Got it almost my whole life that I can, far back as I remember. Now, some of you would say, well, Logan, that's something you got to change. Why do I got to change that? Why can't you just accept me for who I am? When I do pay attention to you, be grateful for it. Revel in it. But that's not what we do in society. You know what society does? No, they try to, you shouldn't do that. Oh, you got to do, you can't do that. But that's my code though. Some of you are here to change the world. Some of you are here to work long hours and your primary position is to be that generator. Some of you, if you're a generator in the human design, like start studying the human design system. What is your partner? Are they a projector, reflector, manifesting generator? Are they a generator? These are all layers you can bring in. What's their personality type? INTP, INFP, ENFP, ENFJ, INFJ. What's their personality type? Have you studied these layers of your partner or your future partner? Have them take the test. This is where dating's going, folks. I guarantee you this, not only is it dating, but hiring for jobs. This is where it's going. There will be applications where you could just go on and the business wants to know your personality type. It wants to know your astrology. It wants to know your numerology. It wants to know your tarot. It wants to know your cards. It wants to know, like, if I had a business and I was going to hire all these employees, I would have all this shit mandatory. Like, this is a requirement. This is my vetting process. Because I want to know when your butt's sitting in that seat, I know exactly what kind of person I'm going to get. That's exactly the way this world's going, and it's the way this world's going with soulmates. And you want to define, you want to refine, you want to be a bottle of refined wine. You got to be refined. Are you refined? It's okay if you're not. If you don't feel like you are, just make the determination that you're not, and just make the decision that you're going to be. Like, that's it. I'm going to refine myself. I'm going to be the master of my domain. I'm going to control my animalistic traits. I'm going to stop living from the lower chakras all the time. A lot of people live from the lower chakras all the time. And that's fine. I'm not taking anything away from how you want to live your life, but that's what you're going to attract in this reality. You can't match up with somebody who's, really balanced or in the higher chakras and match with somebody who's in the lower chakras. You can match up, but it's just not going to last. You're going to have more difficulties. Like, people out there that are looking for their soulmates, for their twin flames, for the one. For the what you're looking for, that's why you're here. That's why this topic. That's why in personal development, besides money, it's love. The number one thing people are after besides money, love. They want love predictions. What kind of love have I got coming in my life? Well, do you know who you are first? Some of you get tarot readings, you don't even know who you are. You don't know what tarot cards you are. You have no idea what you're looking at. And then you get somebody who's just giving you a generalized reading of, here's your monthly prediction for Gemini. Here's your monthly prediction for Cancer. Here's your monthly prediction for Sagittarius. And you don't even know what your freaking code is. That's why I'm telling you, dating, folks, is going to go this way. It's going to go what's your card? What's your tarot? What's your birthday? What is my birthday and your birthday? I mean, they already have it with astrology. You can do the synastry charts, the overlay of the charts. If you get into astrology, what's your personality type? So are we matched up there? Are you extrovert, introvert? Are you more of a thinker or are you more of a feeler? Your Venus position, where's your Venus? Where's their Venus? How do you love? You have those tests. How far down how much information do you want to know about your soulmate and your twin flame? Everything. As much as you can. All right. Okay, so let's get into some of your... Thanks for all the comments. Thanks for everybody being here. This was a fun topic to talk about. I know I went on different avenues. I tried to keep it as much as I can on the soulmate aspect. Love. I mean, I certainly didn't want to be the love doctor tonight, for sure. I'm not trying to be that. So I haven't even been paying attention to the comment. Oh, we got Jordan in the house. Jordan, waters above. What's up, brother? Thanks for joining in, enjoying the single life. So if you know, folks, some of you are on the wave of life is like this. This is the dollar bill, by the way. That's the dollar bill. It's the sine and cosine with the currency. Okay. And some of you are going down. And the middle where the dollar, where the line runs through, That's the plane of inertia. That's like the fine-tune point. That's the center point. But some of you here's the center point, and you're going down. Your relationship is about to go down. And that's just it for you. That's your destination, man. It's going down. And it's gonna hit a bottom. And a lot of people stay down in the bottom for a long time because they're too afraid to go out on their own. I mean, I know people who, they're just under the thumb of other people because they're just not willing to go out and do something on their own. So they're supported by their partner. Either way, it doesn't matter, male or female. There's males being supported, females being supported. And you'll stay in that space because you're too afraid or have the courage to go venture out. This is why you stay in this space right here. I mentioned the 5 of Cups. See, you're looking at the spilled cups here. Like this relationship is going down, and you're looking at it like that. And your sorrow, you're wallowing in your sadness and your despair. And you're just trying to make it work. And remember, it takes 2 to tango. So this is why knowing your partner is so important. You can see the handwriting, like how they made, what's their cosmic code look like. And then you got to take into consideration, are they living from their past? Many people do. Many people live from their past. You got 2 codes going on. You got their cosmic code from the cards, from the tarot, from the cards of illumination. You got the birth, all this stuff. And then you have the code of the programming of their past. A lot of people live through victim mentalities. To this day, they still do. They use it as the way they navigate through life. See, like this exterior, many people use just this to navigate through life. And if this doesn't, we become perfectionists. Well, essentially, we're all wounded warriors. You've been through many lifetimes, I think. Many countless lifetimes over different characters. You play male, female, da. And some of you carry this karma on to the next life, into the next life, into the next life, until you get so weighed down that when you incarnate, you just had this heavy load. And I just know from studying personal development, doctors hang out with doctors, lawyers hang out with lawyers. Librarians hang out with librarians. Bartenders hang out with bartenders. Entrepreneurs hang out with entrepreneurs. CEOs hang out with CEOs. So what are you? Strip away your job, what are you? Who are you? What are you doing here? Why are you here? Why are you even incarnated into this body that you have a name and identity towards? What the hell are you doing here? Start with that. And then you get into the soulmate aspect, like who's your partner? What are they? Now, I've done a lot of readings over the years. I love doing readings for married people and partnerships. Some of these people, man, some of you that I've done readings that are, man, you guys are some superstars. And they got kids, and I'm like, man, I can't wait to see what happens with your kids. Because some of these kids that you bore into this world, they may change the freaking world. And these people, they get all excited. You show them their code, they're like, holy shit. And then it gives them the code. We're looking, a lot of the reading stuff is you're looking for confirmations. To give yourself permission. It's okay. Go do that. Yeah, you were born to do that. You get into life paths. What's your life path? That's your soul contract. It's not your ego, it's your soul contract. Through the rules of numerology, your life path is when you take your total birthday and you add it up. Reduce it down to a single digit. What is yours? Are you living through it? Are you observing it? Do you see it? Do you spot it in your life? Are you satisfying that itch? Because the spirit is spirit comes down into this avatar, and now it has an adversary. It's called your identity. It's this freaking body. Now you have your little devil. Spirit comes down slow down into carbon, and now the carbon is the adversary. And you know why it's the adversary? Because this thing right here is like, what do you desire? What do you want? Oh, I want to go do this. I want to go create that. I need more money. I need a new car. I need a new house. I need. I want. That's all ego, folks. That's all your identity. That's why it's impossible to get rid of it. And then you take a soulmate into this. You get a twin flame into this. Now you got to take into consideration what their wants and desires are. And you're going to get the push-pull. But the spirit doesn't need anything. Your soul contract, this is separate from your identity. And again, when you're looking at the cards of illumination, you can take 2 cards. Like maybe this is your spirit card. I'm going to show all of you that real quick. Let me show you what I mean by that. So right here is the boilerplate chart for the cards of illumination. I've shown this so many times. To the right here is the master life configuration. This is chart 0. This is when you came out into this world, out of your mother's womb, you were given a space on this board. And it's right here. Here's the bingo chart. So wherever your card is here, it's going to be numbered here, okay? So you're going to have this number forever embedded into your reality. And then you take your card, for example, let's just use, since I have the card here, let's just use the 3 of diamonds. Let's say that this is your birth card. Well, what you want to do is you want to come over here and find the same card or the card in the same position as the 3 of diamonds. It's the 6 of hearts. And now you have your spirit card. I call it your handler card. And let's say that you find somebody who is, I don't know, a 5 of spades. So you have your ego is the 3 of diamonds, theirs is the 5 of spades. And then you come over and like, okay, well, what spirit card do they got? They got the 10 of hearts. So there's 2 ways you can do this. You can take your spirit card is the 6 of hearts. Their spirit card is the 10 of hearts. This is card number 10. This is card number 6. That's going to give you card number 16 when you add it up. What's the 16th card on the deck? The 3 of clubs right here. So your spirit cards together form the 3 of clubs. So you go read about the 3 of clubs. But then you need to take into consideration that your ego cards are going to be a huge part of your lives. So we have card number 29, and we have the 5 of spades, which is card number 44. So we add these up. 29 plus 44 is going to give us 73. Now we need to reduce it down to below 52. So we take 73 and we subtract 52, and we get the number 21. And the 21st card in the deck is the 8 of clubs right here. So now you have the 8 of clubs as your ego life card between the 2 of you. And you also have the 3 of clubs as your spirit card together. Then you can take the 3 of clubs and you can add it to the 8 of clubs. Card 21, card 16. And card 16 and 21 is going to give you 37, and that's going to give you the Jack of diamonds. So this is your overall energy between the spirit and the ego together, forming a conjunction of energy. Okay? This is advanced, but this is what you can do as you're looking at your partnership. You can do it with your exes to study yourself. Like, why did you do some of the things that you did? Why did you behave a certain way? Why did you go through this certain journey with this person you used to be with? And I'm going to tell you right now, folks, you're going to start to see patterns. You're going to start to see, trust me, you're going to start to see that you're going to want to get involved with somebody, or they're going to want to get involved with you, and you're not available. Maybe you're in a partner. Maybe you're ready to get out of a partnership. You're ready to dissolve it. You're going to start to see that their partner and their card is connected to your card. Abso-freaking-lutely. Because, ladies and gentlemen, this world is small. Let me tell you right now, telling you that this incarnation is all that matters. But if you go back into past lives, you're going to see that the people in your life, they're all multi-connected, especially the close ones. The opposite sex that you were just friends with, you may have had intimate relationships with in a past life. And maybe you dated this one person this lifetime, but you just never married them. Maybe you were married to them in a past life. You just didn't make it this round. Maybe you just weren't physically attracted to them this round. But in a past life, man, you were all over each other. These are the things that I kind of take into consideration, but I can tell you clearly that It's multi-connected. Their partner is connected to you, and you're connected to their partner and their brother and their sister. And I'm telling you, folks, it's that detailed. It's that like close to home with these soulmate and twin flame connections. For sure. For sure. Now, Oracle, the mermaids are talking about the wedding day. Yeah, you can look at your marriage date. What card is that? All of you, if you have a marriage date, what day is that on the calendar? What day on the calendar is it? We're talking, and what you should be doing, let me show you this right here. This is another way to decode from. I have this chart. Here's the charts for the 365-day calendar. And what you'll see is you have 2 dates for some of these months. Over here in January and February, they're only going to be single. But then you get into March, and it has 60 and 61. March 1st is day 60 and 61 because it takes into consideration the leap year. So what you can do here is you can take 60, add it to the 61, and now you get 121. And then you can go to the 121st day of the year, and you can move into May 1st, which is the 5 of spades card, and you can start to connect it that way. These are all interconnected if you start to add the leap year and common year together. What does your day on the calendar add up to with your partner's day on the calendar? There are so many ways to look at this stuff. It's really limitless. Some of you are talking about names. You should be decoding your name numerology, your full name. What is your partner's full name? Not just their name, but their mother's maiden name to add that on to the total. You know, ladies and gentlemen, it's just kind of funny. I postulated this before and I said, I think this reality is a casino. And we're all being gambled. Like it's a movie, but we're being controlled. And it's just, we're all these playing cards. And it's like, you go into a casino, and most of you have been into a casino. You played some kind of casino game, and now you're using these to wage and win money on. And since this reality is based on currency, we're being used for our energy. Where you use these as energy to make money. Man and tax, they both equal 415 in numerology. They both equal the number 10. I mean, is it possible that we're being played with outside this reality? So I'm checking out your comments here. So Jordan saying our next podcast can be about love. That's all good, man. We can totally do about that. I think that'd be a lot of fun. As I said earlier, I was talking to Jordan on the phone, and we were talking about the Christ and how it's been kind of butchered. And how Jordan was saying it's like the character is made to be masculine and feminine to appease to both sexes. This is coconut water, by the way. But he was talking about Jesus, and Jesus. When you look at the illustrations of Jesus, he's got the long hair, and he's really feminine looking, because it's appeasing to both sexes. Jordan was talking about like the daddy thing, being a daddy, being a father, appeases to both sexes. So I see a lot of simulation talk here. There's no other way around it. And I use myself as the guinea pig here. You can imagine how much I've decoded myself, and as many people that are in my lineage of partnerships, etc. How much I've decoded them. Astrology charts, numerology, life path, cards of illumination, tarot, adding up birthdays, adding up the compounds, spirit cards, ego cards. I mean, I've done so in ways you can't even imagine. And then the patterns start to come out. And the patterns are so defiant. The patterns are so detailed. The patterns are so in your face. The only way I can chalk it up is what I've been saying. We live inside of a predestined script. There's no other way. You can shake or slice it. You can break it down any way you want, folks. You can define it any way you want. You can go and lean on, well, it's this, we have this and this choice. And if we put our choice in this and the Savior's this, and just, folks, do the best you can to get happy. Whatever it takes. And you got to be from this space. First, you got to check off the list. You got to be from here. Like some people say, well, I'm happy injecting heroin. Well, I mean, you're not coming from here. Really, truly. Some people will say that. You're operating from the lower chakras because that's all about, the fire. But when you're operating from this space right here, you give yourself a chance to be in the middle of that, like the dollar bill sign. In the middle is the plane of inertia, is the detail. It's like being in tune. It's like, when you turn the dial on the radio, remember the old analog, and you turn the dial and it's like, and then you finally get to the station you want to get to, and it's as clear as I'm talking right now. That's what I'm talking about, as being in tune with the person you want to be with. The person that you want to be with, what do they do for you? How do they make you feel? How do you keep that feeling going? The honeymoon stage does not last. It just doesn't. It changes. It doesn't last. So you gotta be creative. And I'm saying is like, what society, what age? You go back, if I go back, the only thing I can go back to is what I know is I was born in 1973. My parents were born in the 40s. You go all the way back to the 1940s, 1930s, the roaring 20s. Back then it was Piscean, it was the church, and the church says, oh, astrology, numerology, that's from the devil. That's satanic. That's off limits. You can't do that. But now we're not in that anymore. We're in a different age. People, you can't we're not spinning CDs anymore. We're not rolling cassettes. We're not using 8-track players. We're not playing ColecoVision. We're not playing Atari with a joystick. We're not using DVD players. We're not using VCRs. You can still use them, but just take the operating system of phones now and computers. Like if you have an Apple phone, the very first, Jordan and I were talking about this. He was going to get an Apple phone just to have it for nostalgia purposes or something like that. But you can't have one now. You can use it. You can still use it to make phone calls, but you can't update the operating system on the Apple One phone. It won't let you. So essentially you can't be up to date with an Apple One phone. You can still make a phone call, but you can't do what the new smartphones can do, because it's not allowing you to update the operating system. You can't take 100 years ago and bring it into this reality. It's not the updated operating system. The updated operating system for soulmates and twin flames is much different than it was 100 years ago. We're eliminating the boundaries. We're eliminating what the church said was, oh, that's bad, that's evil, that's satanic, that's Lucifer. All these silly nonsense adjectives and things to describe our reality are being leveled down. And I'm telling you right now, folks, the dating scene, trust me, mark my words, it's already happening, but somebody's going to dial it in. There's apps. They're already out. There's apps you can dial in. You can find somebody based on their astrological positions, their rising signs, their numerology. You're going to get into the cards of illumination. You're going to get into the tarot. You're going to get into the human design. You're going to get into the gene keys. You're going to get into personality types, the Enneagram. All these are going to be implemented in dating. And it's going to give you a very big head start on meeting your soulmate and twin flame connection. It will. Because now you're getting in tune with this reality versus taking a stab in the dark. Because the energy's speeding up and everything's speeding up. Essentially what you're doing is you're reaching the top of the apex up here. Whereas 100 years ago, you're down at the base and it's very slow moving. Horse and buggy days, cowboys and Indians. But now when you get to the apex, it moves quickly, fast. The internet, it's very quick. Dating, it's on, do online date, like this stuff, online dating didn't even exist 20 years ago. People are meeting their soulmates and twin flames. Where'd you meet? I met online. You have the ability to meet and talk to anybody you want around the world in seconds just by connecting to the World Wide Web. So things are speeding up. It's heating up. It's going faster. It's going faster. People want things now. People are conforming to, I want it now. I want it now. I want it now. I don't want to wait. I want it now. Give me this now. Because everything's almost instant. 5G coming in. It's going to be super fast, lightning fast. I want it now. I want it now. I want it now. With that, technology will become instituted with what I'm telling you right now, these systems, not just for soulmates and twin flames, but for employers, employees. If you want to find a job, it's going to be based upon, okay, what's your astrological placement? What's your sun sign? What's your rising sign? Vedic and Western, not just one. You know, what cycle are you in right now? What age are you at right now? If you're 32, you're in a 5 cycle. If you're 46, you're in a 1 cycle. What does that mean for you? What do your charts look like for right now? Like this is chart 66. And all these cards are not the same as what they looked like at what I showed you. They're all different, except for 3 cards. So where's your card here? Like if you're 66, where's your card sit? And then you got to know how to read the cards. These things have been around a lot longer than you and I. And I've shown, and many of you are showing now that these cards, we are these cards. These cards are us. We are them. These are archetypes. We are archetypes. And we're now synchronizing everything. And as I have said, we're all kind of decoding ourselves home. Whatever that looks like, I don't know. Sabrina, online dating is a poor man's playground. Oh, I don't agree, but plenty of people, plenty of male and females that have met online. I've heard countless stories, and they're happy. That's just nonsense, I think. Now your opinion's all that matters, but where you're coming from is you're going back 30, 40 years, 50 years. You're going back to when there was no online dating. Like it has to be traditional. Those ways are not going to work moving into the age of Aquarius. Sorry, they won't. Just like Windows 10 or Windows, I don't know what operating system. I can't even remember the Windows, but the old operating system of Windows 7, that doesn't work anymore. You can't install programs that are being created through the source code. People that are coding, they're coding it based upon the newest version of Windows, the newest operating system of Apple. They're coding it that way. You can't take that system, that software, and put it on these old operating systems. It will not work. That is the same way as what I'm saying here is you can't take 100 years ago and bring it into this reality and try to make it work. It's just not going to fit. Tradition, that's why traditions get wiped away. Well, I used to do it that way. Well, too bad they don't work this way anymore. in this reality. Things are changing. And you're either going to get lost or you're going to move with the changes. And you're going to figure it out. But ultimately, since we're talking about soulmates and twin flames, ladies and gentlemen, I'm just saying that you should study yourself. You should study your partner. You should study the person you're dating. You should study the person that you want to date. Like everybody here, you meet somebody, what's your birthday? What are you afraid of? If they get scared off, then they're not the one you're supposed to go with. You eliminate people just like that by asking their birthday. What do you want to know my birthday for? Well, why don't you just tell me? You don't have to tell me the year. Some of you females are so deathly afraid of your ages. It blows me away. You know what that is? It's called insecurity. You want to just keep it real. If you're not willing to share your birth year, you're insecure. What are you going to tell me? What kind of excuse are you going to tell me why you're not? You don't want to tell me your age? Why? Because you're insecure. Because, well, shit, then I can't date the guy that's younger than me. Or he's not going to like me because I'm 50 and, maybe he doesn't want to date a 50-year-old. Folks, there's no mistakes in this reality. Stop hiding. Stop pretending. Tell people how old you are. Girls, especially you women, man, you're so insecure about your freaking ages. It blows me away. Blows me away. Not just me keeping it real, man. I know I may have turned some of the women off. I don't really care. But I know that's the case because I see it all the time. I see people on Facebook, they'll put their birthday, but they won't put the birth year. Why? Because they're too insecure about how old they are. Well, then I can't, I'm not going to be able to attract the certain characteristics of a dude. Folks, you're always going to be on the right track. It's just the journey. That's it. It's just funny, man. So love language is another good one. Steven Segura. Big shout out to the moderator, Steven and Pamela. Thanks to the two of you. We got the yin yang in here, Steven and Pamela. Big shout out to them. Sabrina, when you say I need to feel loved, see, that's a big difference than I want to feel loved. See, if you need to, and that was what you said. When you say I need something, let me give you an example. Those of you that are looking for a partner. When you say, I really need to go to the gym today because I ate like shit over the whole weekend and I really just need to get to the gym. You see, your ego is not going to like that because now you've just given yourself a lot of pressure because you need to do it. But if you switch it and you say, I want to go to the gym today. See, that's going to give you the encouragement to want to go to the gym. It's going to make you motivate yourself to go to the gym. Big difference just to change in the words. So when you say, I need to feel loved, no, you don't. You got to want to feel loved. And there's a huge difference. And since you put need there, then I already know exactly how you're rolling. You got to want to feel loved. And essentially, you got to be that love. You have to be a match to that love. You can't go into the relationship and start pointing fingers and try to change people. You got to be that love that you want to be, not need to be. There's a big difference. So, I'm not going to pull any punches here, folks. Some people don't like how I'm just raw and visceral, man. But this is how I roll. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, it's just after midnight here. I think I'm going to call it a day. It's been a lot of fun for all of you. For me, for all of you. It's been a lot of fun for me with spending time with all of you. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, I'll just leave you with this. Like, I see a lot of people out there that when they're single, they spend a lot of time on their exterior. They spend a lot of time on looking their absolute best on the exterior. And you see it all the time. People, they'll get out of a relationship that they've been in for a long time. They've let themselves go. Got into some habits that, they probably, if they go back, they would say they're bad habits. And when they finally get that divorce or they finally get away from that relationship they've been in for so long, what do a lot of them do when they want to go back on the market? They start to take care of their temple again. They'll maybe get into the gym. Maybe they'll drop 20 pounds. Maybe they'll get, new teeth. Maybe they'll change their hairstyle. Maybe they'll get new clothes. Or, why would you do that? Because you're now wanting to bring love. You're looking for love again. And looking for love is partly based on the exterior. Yes. But a lot of people, what they don't do is they do not work on getting rid of the garbage that they've collected over the past 5 years or however long the relationship was. They're too fixated on this because they have navigated through life thinking that the soulmate and the twin flame connection will be solely focused on this. This is important. This is huge. Because this ultimately is what you look at to hump, right? I mean, you got to be you have to have chemistry and you got to be sexually attracted and all that kind of stuff. That's part of the whole romance part of it. But what do you look like inside? It's great to have a beautiful exterior, but if you got a real damaged interior, how long do you think it's going to last? So I'm encouraging all of you to decode yourself, own the space of who you are as a human being, what you incarnated to be, why you came here. Like, what did you come here for? Besides humping, besides making out, besides holding hands, besides cuddling, besides creating a family, why did you come here? That's the base foundation of what I would encourage all of you to come from when it comes to, are you with your soulmate? Do you want to be with a soulmate? Do you want to be with a twin flame connection? And once you figure out what the hell you're doing here and you own that space, and then you work on eliminating the bullshit in your past. Like if you have insecurity, and we all have insecurities, right? But if you have insecurities, like if you got cheated on and then you're looking for a soulmate and you start dating somebody and you're not going to tell them, you're probably not going to tell them. But then you're going to start to look for signs of cheating because you're like deathly afraid it's going to happen again. Because that's the worst. I've had it happen to me. It sucks. So you're going to start looking for cheating, and then maybe you end up attracting somebody that is a cheater because you're looking for the signs of cheating. There is that aspect that comes into play. I don't know. But if you eliminate that from your presence, from your interior now, like you're getting all dolled up, getting your nails done, getting your Botox, getting your teeth fixed, whitening your teeth, doing your hair, going to the gym, getting buff, reducing 50 pounds, reducing 10 pounds, toning your body. You're getting a new wardrobe. You're doing everything on the exterior, but you're not doing a damn thing about your interior. Oh, well, because I've been together. We're still living together, but I haven't been emotionally involved for a year. Yeah, but you've been living together. You still haven't gotten rid of the baggage. And then you spend all this time on your exterior and you're not spending any time on your interior, decoding yourself, figuring out what you need to own as your space, knowing you're a superstar. Like, are you a star in your own movie, or are you an extra in somebody else's? Are you just an extra hanging around, taking up space? When are you going to be a superstar? Because if you're out there looking for a soulmate, don't you want to date a superstar? Don't you want to be with a superstar? Every one of you should say, yes, I do. I want to be with a superstar. Are you a superstar? Are you behaving like a superstar? Are you acting like a superstar? Do you own the space of being a superstar? Can you honestly and authentically say that? I'm a superstar. It's okay to say it. Right here. Are you this? Or are you not this because your ex has been pulling you down, saying you're shit, you're no good, you're never going to amount to anything, I pay for everything. Like, be your own boss, man. Be this. Be this. But don't just do it here. Don't look like the superstar on the exterior. Anybody can do that. Go in. Fix inside of you. Be the superstar. And then you have a complete package. And I mean, I'm not going to say it's going to be perfect. No such thing. But at least you took the initiative to go release the crap that has happened to you in your past. Everything in your past has no relevance in the now moment. And if you take it into the next relationship, that's not fair to your partner that you're bringing into the new relationship. Like, here I am, and here's all my baggage that you got to deal with because I wasn't, I didn't take care of it. So you decode so the methodology I wanted to bring to end this transmission to all of you, okay? Whether if you're in a partnership now, if you're with a soulmate, if you're with a twin flame, how well do you know them? How much do you know about their cards of illumination? All the methodologies that I talked about, your composite cards, your ego card, your spirit cards, adding them all together, what tarot cards you make up, what do the pictures look like, reading about them. What are your life path numbers together? All this stuff, studied all of it. Personality types, Enneagram, what do you guys look like together as as unification? And then those of you that are single, that are looking for your soulmate, well, you can write down on a piece of paper, like, okay, I want her or him. I want this. I want long hair. Are you doing this? Like, what's your fantasy? I want this. I want that. Be honest. I want this. I want that. And then I need them to be this and that, da, 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 da. And then guess what? You need to go through that list. You got to be every single, you don't have to have long hair if you want to have them long hair, but you got to be everything that you listed on there internally. You can't just write it down and say, I want them to be this, and you're not that way. That's how you're going to have the least amount of issues. And then you can be with any one of these cards. So there's no like, well, can you tell me about if I match up? Folks, you can match up with any freaking card there is here. Any astrological sign. Don't get into this bullshit. People saying, well, that's not a good match because it's this and that. That's so stupid. Any sign can be with any sign. But you got to know what you're dealing with. Like if you're with an air sign and you're a fire sign, the fire makes the air hotter or the air makes the fire hotter. You got to know then, okay, what is that? What happens there? Then you read about their card. Well, they're a 5 life path or they're a 5 and they're adventurous and, they take risks and, so what does that mean for you? But if you're looking to get into a relationship, ladies and gentlemen, and you're that single person, have you done the work on the interior? It's all great to do the exterior and getting yourself prepared to look your best and to be on the market. I'm on the market now. I'm going to date. But have you done the interior work? Have you released your crap? Have you released your baggage? If you get a new hairstyle, maybe you should match up and get rid of something on the interior. Change something about you that is no longer serving you in the now moment. Like, I'm insecure. Work on your insecurities. Don't bring your insecurities into the relationship with a new connection. Like, they don't want that. Don't be looking for signs of cheating because you got cheated on with Bob, but now you meet Billy and Billy is not a cheater, but now you think Billy's going to cheat. That's not fair to him. Not fair to her. So you got to do the inner work, folks, to be if you want a perfect soulmate, the perfect twin flame connection, if you really want that in your life, and I'm just using perfect because it's a word, it's a fun word. If you want that, you got to be that. You can't just say, I want it and not be it. You got to be that. So I'm encouraging all of you, if you're single, study yourself. Decode yourself. Know who the hell you are. Own that space of who you are. And then when you start meeting people, what's your birthday? Most people now are willing to give out their birthday. And I just hope you ladies, man, you start saying, well, I was born in whatever year. You're not going to hide behind this insecurity if you don't want to tell people your age. Own that space, man. Don't hide from it. Own it. I mean, if you're 50 and you're like, well, I go put some time into the exterior, man. Pay more attention to your health. Do some prevention, do some anti-aging. If you're not okay with saying I'm 50, eventually people are going to find out. Some people end up finding out and they get pissed. They get angry because you lied to them. Well, I didn't want to tell you I was 50 because I didn't think you'd date me. And see, that just leads to nightmares. That leads to disasters and bombs going off. Study yourself if you're somebody who's single, looking for your soulmate. And if you're on the market, if you're looking for somebody, or if you found somebody, you can go online and you could start to type in tarot cards and you can start to look at some of these predictions. I like looking at the ones from the previous month, because if they're accurate in the previous month, like, holy shit, that really happened, then it may be somebody you should start to follow. But you got to know the cards you're looking at. What are your birth cards? What are your tarot cards? Especially the tarot readers, they're going to tell you. Like, if you got this as your birth card, like those of you that are born on the 8th of the month, this is going to be tied to you. So if you have this card pulled up, I mean, it's like, oh shit, there's my card. What is it attached to? So you get, all of you, if you're interested in like doing tarot readings, like I do them, sure. I charge for my tarot readings because it's time. I put time into it. But if you want to get some free stuff, you can go on the YouTube and there's unlimited amounts of people, and then they sell their readings. So I'm just kind of paying it forward because I value a lot of these amazing tarot readers. There's a lot of really good ones out there. All you got to do, type in your Aquarius prediction 2023, Sagittarius prediction 2023. You can even do this, and then you can start to go in retro back, December, November. For December, you go read and you look and see exactly, like, are they in tune with what happened to you? But you got to know what you got to know what you're looking for with the cards, and it's a process, for sure. All right. Some of you, we got the cougar out. Some people's in if I could find a cougar, that's pretty funny. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I think I'm going to call it a night. I've had fun with this one. This has been a great transmission. I had my background up. Should have been this the whole time, but anyways. I really appreciate each and every one of you. Even most of you I've never met, probably will never meet. But here we are. So I value each and every one of you, great decoders. Thanks for all your support over the years. Your subscription means a lot. Your likes, and I don't make sure you like and subscribe. I don't do that. Like I put a little posting at the end of my things. But like, if you want to hit the like button, then do it. I mean, if you want to hit the thumbs down, then do it. It's all good. It's just energy anyway. But folks, just please go out there and really be this before you try to, go, if you're single and you want be this first. Like when you walk up to somebody and you want to, or you meet somebody online and you want to, you're like, oh my God, and you know their birthday and you start to decode them and like, you get a reading and like, oh shit, this, you know, are you this? You got to be this first. Don't try to chase this and that, you know, after you're like, get rid of your baggage, get rid of your insecurities, get rid of all the damagedness of who you were in your past. Come in with a fresh, clean, white piece of paper into this new relationship. Do the work. You know, doesn't mean you can't date or with this person or be with this person if this is where you're at this stage of the game. But this is who you are. Every freaking single one of you is this card number 17. It's tied to the word matrix, tied to the word life, tied to the word gold. It's the 17. You're the superstar on the world stage. So please go be this. The world needs more of you. The world needs heroes. The world needs you. And I feel like if you become this and you end up meeting, if those of you that are single, you meet your soulmate, your twin flame, you meet and you pair up two of these stars together, whoo! That's what the world is moving towards. That is what the world is moving towards, ladies and gentlemen. All right, so I'm gonna end this. I'm gonna end it where I started it off with this remix by Dim Zach and the original artist Billy Idol, of course. Flesh for Fantasy. It's a really cool remix. Again, I'll leave this in the description. You guys and gals can chat away. I'm going to let this song play. It's been a lot of fun sending you tons of love from the Caribbean here in Mexico. This has been Let's Talk About Soulmates. I hope you had a fun time with this, even through all my raw, visceral pieces of it all. I hope you had some fun. So, ladies and gentlemen, until next time, we will see you later.
Do you like to dance? Oh yeah. Hanging out for a body shot at night. Ain't ashamed what we do to feel alright. Oh yeah. So when will you come? I'm experienced. Oh yeah. Face to face. You see and feel my sex attack. Rush, rush for fantasy. We want more. Rush, rush for fantasy. It's after midnight. Are you feeling alright? Oh yeah. Turn out the light, babe. Are you someone else tonight? Even the neighbor, door to door. Don't ask questions, time for it all. Oh yeah. Face to face, and back to back. You see and feel my sex attack. Sing it. Rush, rush for fantasy. We cry, blush, blush for fantasy. Do you like good music? Or do you like to dance? It's nearly morning. You wanna risk a chance? Neighbor to neighbor, door to door. Enjoy the crime, you do your time. Never been nothing before.